888-954-6669.
This program was paid for by 1220 Enterprises. The opinions and views expressed are not those of local stations. Prior results do not guarantee future outcomes. Use of this information in violation of any federal, state, or local laws is prohibited. If you have a gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER.
If you're drowning in IRS debt and can't afford to pay, then you need to take advantage of special IRS tax programs that are available and free yourself from IRS collection efforts once and for all. Due to the financial hardship consumers are facing throughout the country, the Internal Revenue Service has made it easier to settle delinquent tax problems. An open phone line has been established by Community Tax for consumers to call and see if they qualify. Take down this number or store it in your cell phone, but call the Community Tax Helpline at 800-536-9607. If you owe back taxes to the IRS and cannot afford to pay them back, or even if you have years of unfiled tax returns, there's no need to fear anymore. But you have to call the Community Tax Helpline today at 800-536-9607 for the help that you need. Don't take on the IRS alone. They can attack your wages, savings, pension, home, and even your Social Security check. Call 800-536-9607 for your free consultation and to see if you qualify. That's 800-536-9607.
You're listening to 95.7 The Game, KGMZ-FM in HD1 San Francisco, on Odyssey Sports Station. Always live on the free Odyssey app, Twitch, and YouTube. Powered by First NorCal Credit Union. You're listening to 95.7 The Game, KGMZ-FM in HD1 San Francisco, on Odyssey Sports Station. Always live on the free Odyssey app, Twitch, and YouTube. Powered by First NorCal Credit Union. Live from downtown San Francisco, this is 95.7 The Game.
And a big open you shall receive. That is right. We are back in the saddle. Warriors this week returns the 2025-26 edition. That is Steven Risotto behind the glass alongside Zach Green and my man, Dan Devone. Evan Giddings with you here on a Saturday, every Saturday from 9 to noon. Talking Dubs, first week in the books. And before we get into all the nitty-gritty, the X's and O's, the who's up, who's down, Dan, it's so good to see you, man. What's happening?
Well, it's good to see you as well. It's been a while.
I know.
And, it's been an entire off season. So here we go. And by the way, I know you had a shout-out to Caddy Zach, which we're expecting absolutely nothing of this morning because his team, Indiana, is being nationally televised, playing a football game against UCLA. So he's been thoroughly excused and is literally in another room watching a college football game while being on the clock.
Now, see, this is one of those parts about college football that with the realignment, the death of the Pac-12, I guess they're going to have Texas State in there next year or whatever. This is a part of the sacrilegious conference within the Big Ten because Indiana and UCLA have no business ever playing a football game on the same field together, nevertheless against each other. And so while, Zach, I'm rooting for your Hoosiers and the Heisman to be Fernando Mendoza, a.k.a. the Cal Bear that was lost. Have fun today.
Yeah, speaking of the Cal Bears, take one on the chin against Va Tech, which was brutal. I don't know if you saw any of that last night.
We will talk basketball today, I guarantee it. The Golden Bears, you can't trust them, Dan. Well, they're like the Atlanta Falcons. You cannot trust them. You
talk about Mendoza going to Indiana. The chances of Saga sticking around are just like out the window now.
Is that what we're calling them now? Saga?
Yeah, that's my
JKS, whatever.
My Cal alumnus are calling the boy Saga. So
Saga's fine. Well, actually, he's playing himself into his sophomore season.
What do you mean?
I mean, he hasn't been very good last couple of weeks. I saw him at home against UNC and left a lot to be desired in that second half.
That was a brutal game.
Yeah.
All right.
Speaking of second half.
I would see you somehow. There you go. I was like, how is he going to drive this thing back to the Warriors? But only you, man.
No, speaking of second halves, we're just going to throw the one last night out of the books. That was a burn-the-tape game. And so, I think, one of the reasons why I enjoy doing this show, Dan, is because, outside of seeing you, the week that is what we get to just break down. We get to look at the entire week, the first week that's in the books for the Warriors in a bird's eye view. 2-1 start. They take their first loss last night on the heels of, an early statement game, whatever you want to call it, overtime win against the Denver Nuggets. They beat a LeBron-less Lakers team in the opener on the road. I don't know, since we haven't talked for a while, what were your expectations of this basketball team coming in? And did it really change based on what you saw through the first week?
No, they are who we thought they were. Who said that?
Danny Green?
Danny Green, back in the day when Leinart was his quarterback at Arizona. I digress. We thought they were. I think that, listen, I'm retracting. It's not that I'm retracting. I'm not going to go the old route. Like, I've had that take for 2 years now. It's an old team. We know that. And I don't want to do that anymore, especially now that everybody else has jumped on that bandwagon. They're an old basketball team. We'll hold on to the Sanford and Son Open for a while there, Pasta. But I like this basketball team. I think it could be one of the true storylines and one of the funnest teams in I mean, think about a 30-30 documentary on ESPN when you've got these old guys with their pedigree and what it is that they've done being relevant and vying for relevance in the NBA postseason. And so I'm all on board. I love this. I love Steve Kerr, and I love the foundational pieces, but this is what it is that they're going to have to deal with. And I think with rest, an entire offseason, they can be very good for a couple of games. But the question then becomes, when you go back-to-back, the question becomes is that when you get into, quote-unquote, the battle of attrition, that is the 82 games, and it's February and it's December, and do you have your legs, and are you upright? Who's going to be available in terms of health? That's going to be it's going to be load management, and it's just going to be about where this team is at down the road. And I think the first week of the campaign was very indicative of who they are, and that is a team, when it's well-rested, is as good as anybody in terms of that starting lineup. I would stack that starting lineup in the postseason, especially against anybody in the NBA. But the question just simply becomes, when you get into the daily grind that is the NBA, do they have the legs to compete?
The starting lineup. Well, that's something that's already changed based on what we thought off of last season. I don't know about you. I thought Horford might be a candidate to start. He's probably going to come off the bench, but he closed against Denver. And then because of Moses Moody's absence up until last night, and he didn't look great, but he's off a calf strain, Jonathan Kaminga is into the starting lineup. That's something I'm going to keep an eye on this year, because like one thought that floated through my mind last night was, okay, well, if you have all this in your starting lineup, your bench is just absolutely devoid of anybody who could score the basketball. And I think those are the nights where they're going to have to experiment and kind of puzzle piece together. But the game against Denver, the game against the Lakers, that's the team that I'm expecting the Warriors to look like more often than not. And again, if you're getting two out of 3 games where you got high effort, high energy, focus, intent, I do think that this team can be a top 6 seed in the West. And I think that's the goal for this season, is to get out of the play-in. To your point, give yourself that extra, 4 or 5 days to rest between the regular and the beginning of the postseason, and then let the chips fall where they may. I think that this is a team, and really the story of the first week was Steph Curry. If he is a guy that still can summon that level of play, which he did against Denver, scoring 20 points in the fourth quarter and in overtime, scoring the majority of his points in the second half, you got a puncher's chance. And I just don't think that there's any team in the West. Well, I think that OKC, to me, probably has a better starting 5. I think that when Denver is going to be eventually at full strength, at full tilt, I like their starting 5. Houston, I still got questions about what they're doing with their point guard position, but they're pretty formidable with their size. This is a Warriors starting lineup that, you're right, is going to be able to play with anybody. And if 30 at age 37 is still doing what he's doing, the Warriors got action.
Yeah, when I said starting lineup, I'm talking about Horford, a front line of Horford, Butler, Draymond Green, and then you go Kaminga and Steph Curry.
So the lineup they finished with against Denver.
Yeah, those 5 guys, if you're starting the postseason with that experience, I would stack that up in the playoffs, mind you, against anybody.
Yeah.
Now, OKC, you could say, has the youth, and there's certainly going to be some good teams, but I'd be very comfortable with those 5. And as far as Steph Curry, yes, if Steph Curry can summon and be that guy, but I like the Steph Curry against the Los Angeles Lakers. If you could see more of that, where you're not as reliant on him being Superman, and Butler's doing his part, and Kaminga's doing his part, and you're getting scoring from other. You need more of that, while Steph can still be that guy from time to time. It can't be. You can't go back to the pre-Jimmy days where it's Steph Curry centric, and then it's a bunch of other guys. This team would go as far as Steph Curry would take them. And now with the emergence of Jimmy Butler, you're seeing that the responsibility is a lot of it being shouldered by that of Butler. And so yes, it was fun to see what it is that he did, especially in overtime against Denver, and certainly carrying that on against Portland. But I like the Steph Curry against the Lakers, where he was good, but he didn't have to drop 35 or 40.
I mean, I think that makes you feel better about what they can do as a group because, last year, especially pre-deadline, is like if Curry doesn't have 30 points, this team is large in part going nowhere. I know there were a couple games where, Buddy Hield had a couple big nights early in the season. Midway through the year, Kaminga had a few big scoring nights. But large in part, if Curry wasn't scoring, this team was not going anywhere. I do think it's interesting that the start to the season, like the offense hasn't really been that big of a concern. It's been giving up big nights to Doncic, who it didn't really matter. He kind of gave up as many as he scored. He gave up 50 points to Aaron Gordon, which came completely out of left field. And then last night was more of a, death by a million cuts. Portland just kind of ran you up and down the floor. By the way, shout out to the Boxer and Gerson work injury attorneys text line and our YouTube chat rolling in here on a Saturday morning. You're right, 415. I was fanboying out over Denny Avila torching the Warriors last night because he was absolutely sensational. And the Portland Trailblazers are a young, athletic, fast team, the kind of team that is going to give problems, I think, to an older group like Golden State. But overall, I'm with you. Like, the first game where Jimmy Butler is getting to the free throw line, where Kaminga is playing his role, where you have capable shooters coming off the bench. I think Buddy Hield had a big night in the opener in L.A., that doesn't demand Steph Curry to just shoulder everything the way that we know he can do, but ultimately is unsustainable across an 82-game season. Yeah,
I would agree with that. And it's really about Jimmy Butler. But then it just gets back to, can Jimmy Butler stack, consecutive games like that? Because these guys need their rest. Jimmy Butler back in the day in his mid to late 20s, that's a completely different person. I don't know. I always give you this analogy because I know at some point intermittently I've got to go back to baseball just to capture your attention. But I used to be, you can go ahead and give me a huge drop with this, a buddy of Jamie Moyer and his wife back in the day. And Jamie Moyer, along with Bartolo Colon, we always do this.
He's too old.
You're friends with pitchers who threw combined 78 years of baseball?
Do you know that Jamie Moyer's wife was Digger Phelps' daughter? And for those of you who don't know who Digger Phelps is, he was a legendary coach for Notre Dame. Anyways, but Jamie Moyer used to be able to rush it up there plus 90 miles an hour with the fastball. Same with Bartolo Colon. And he's like, damn, man. I would sit there at dinner with him and his wife and kids. He's like, I could go out. He was pitching like on Friday. He's like, I could go out there and give you 95, and I will, but he's like, I can't do it as frequently. So as you get older, like he's all junk.
How old was this Jamie Moyer? I feel like I've only seen the guy who threw 82.
Oh, he was already in his 40s when I was like in Seattle over 15
George
years
Blanda
ago.
Of baseball.
But he's just like, now I just, I have to mix my speeds. And so bringing it back to basketball, like Jimmy Butler can give you a game like that. My question going forward is how frequently can he be that Jimmy Butler?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's the question for the Warriors.
I took the circuitous route of getting there.
And I also missed your big words. It's been a while since we've had a chance to talk. That's the question for the Dubs, right? Like, how many times over 82 games are you going to get good Jimmy, good Curry? I would throw Draymond in there, too. I thought Draymond looked certainly a lot more fresh the first two games than he did last night against Portland when he was throwing the ball all over the place. But you're right. Kind of the key to everything in a way is Butler. Like, I thought that last night, just because Jimmy was kind of floating, like he was a ghost last night, honestly, in Portland. They looked a lot like the team that preceded him. And that team, as we talked about ad nauseum last year, is a very middle of the pack group. I mean, they were around 500. They needed him. And that, in one breath, is what I saw kind of jump off the screen in L.A. and against Denver. They looked like the team that when Jimmy is himself, they looked like the group last year. It kind of feels like they picked up where they left off from last season. And I think that's going to be good enough in the first month of the year to beat a lot of teams. Just because, I mean, like, you see the Lakers, man. They did not care about that first game. LeBron's on the bench, staring into the wind. J.J. Redick's got to come out and say he's helping in film room. Like, he's helping in practice study with these guys. And it's like, they don't care about these games. Denver was their first game of the season. Jokic looks like one of the fat heads behind you. Like he's playing himself into shape. I think that there's a lot of those games in the first month, similar to last year, where because the Warriors are taking these games seriously and have chemistry already built in coming off of last year, they're going to be good enough to beat a lot of these teams.
Speaking of Jokic, he looks like he put on all the weight that Luka lost. Luka's Slovenian. I always get these two mixed up, and then the Serbian
is Jokic.
Is Jokic. By the way, have you seen Jokic's brothers?
Yeah, they're bigger.
My God. So one of his brothers had to do the perp walk because he got into a fight. Whoever the person is that decided to get in a fight with this man at a Denver Nugget game, and he got arrested.
Oh, that was one of the Morris twins, I think. Okay, so the Jokic brothers have a Twitter account. They're a hilarious follow on Twitter. I don't know if they still tweet, but they tweet like in the third person and like they're talking to someone. Stay away from Jokic at Morris, bad man, or something like that. And these guys are just, first of all, they're terrifying. Have you ever seen one in person?
That's where I was going with this. Go ahead, I'll let you finish your story.
No, they came to Chase Center last year, and it was like, I think it was big chick, Carter, big boy, 6'9", like he was standing behind one of these guys, and I'm looking at him, and looking at Jokic's brother, and I'm looking at big chick, and I'm looking at Jokic's brother, and I'm just like, this is a mountain of a man.
I saw Jokic's brother. I don't know why. I was on YouTube, and I encourage everybody to look this up. He was walking with his attorney because he had punched somebody at a Denver Nugget game. I have never seen somebody that big in my entire life. I mean, I thought, Trent Williams was the biggest person I had ever seen. This guy, so they say he goes 6'11", 430 pounds. And you ought to see him walk. I mean, he's with no neck. It's like a mountain with legs.
It's like a Game of Thrones character.
This happened to me once when I was, in my early years, I was doing sports in Fresno, and I was with the CBS affiliate out there. And it was like my first year, and I had to cover a Raider game when they were in Oakland. And I was on the sidelines. I'll never forget this. And so I turned to go into the tunnel. And this is when a large gentleman by the name of Lincoln Kennedy out of the University of Washington. Are you guys familiar with Lincoln Kennedy, former offensive lineman? Look him up, Pasta. I think he went like 6'8", maybe 4 bills. And it was, the Raider uniform is intimidating in and of itself, the silver and black. And he had like a black shield. And I just turned around to go into the tunnel, and he was standing there. And so involuntarily, I just let out as if I was an 11-year-old girl. I went, ah! Like it was very audible. I screamed. I didn't even know I had that in me. I was like, ah! I mean, I was like so frightened of this person. And that wasn't until I saw one of Jokic's brothers. But I'll bring this back on the tracks here.
Well, no. So I wanted to tell you about last weekend because we didn't have a chance to chat when I was doing the Sarah St. Francis
who won
high
that?
School game. Sarah. They ended up blowing them out. I think it was a 2-touchdown game. But St. Francis has these two brothers, a right and left tackle, the Fafita brothers. And they are freaking monstrous. So I'm standing there before the game just trying to get, I've actually never been to Sarah before, so I was just kind of walking around the field getting the lay of the land. And,
welcome to the jungle, cherries.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Wait, okay, who's a cherry, by the way? Is Pasta a cherry?
S.I. No, he's a rabbit.
Okay. Cherries, rabbits.
Rabbit till I die.
Whatever.
Yeah, actually, Reardon's got action this year. They're very good. But this 6'7", 325-pound 17-year-old walks right up, and I'm like, oh, this is why I didn't play football, ever. At any point in my life, at any stage, Pop Warner, into high school, no chance. This guy was 4 me's, and he's 17 years old. He might even be younger than that. But the Fafita brothers were two of the largest humans. One was a senior, one was a sophomore, and just made me feel completely insignificant. I didn't shriek, though.
Were they any good? Could they move? Were they athletic?
Yeah, all they did was run behind the right tackle.
Oh, wow. So these kids are going to be playing at the next level.
Yeah, one of them is. There's a couple Division I guys out there. City's got, and Peninsula. They got some good football out here. Don't sleep on them.
Here in the city?
Yeah.
Well, dude, you're telling me? I never leave I don't cross the bridge. That's all I know is city football.
You're only in the air. You only take red eyes in and out of New York City.
Hey, by the way, just to bring it back to LeBron James, was it weird seeing him on the bench? Not that he was in the civvies, but sort of the look in his eye. Maybe this is just a Dan Devone read, but I was like, does he know? He looked like the cat that ate the canary or something. It was like, does he know something that we don't? Like he's not returning this year, or He's not happy with Luka running the team. He just looks so disengaged.
He made me really regret selecting him in my fantasy NBA draft.
Oh, wow.
So the funniest part about that game was Doncic had like a million and ones, but I think it was in the third quarter. He like takes a bump from Kaminga, kind of floats it in, and they pan to the bench, and Noah Eagle, who's now doing the games for NBC.
Ian's kid.
Yeah, he's really good.
Yeah, he is.
And they pan to LeBron, and it's like, oh, Doncic and one. LeBron, loving it. And then it looks over to him, and he's just straight-laced, like, I don't think he's really loving it.
He was that way.
But you had to say something.
Oh, I hate it.
Yeah, he was that way the whole game. It was sort of weird. And again, maybe we're reading into something that's not there. I just like, is this sciatica just something like a cover for something else? Because it does
you
not
ever
look
had
like
sciatica?
No, but it sounds like an old man disease or an old. But it seems like something. Yeah, I would get. You're right. Sciatica. What is it? It's like a nerve in the lower back.
Yeah, something along the back or like your side or something. I don't know. Well, but then again, like you're kind of like LeBron too. I mean, you're out there in the ocean at 4 a.m.
Yeah.
I don't know if you put $1 million into your body per year, but it wouldn't shock me.
But I just felt like, God, I don't know. With LeBron does not look like he's coming back anytime soon. But as far as, when you talk about the Denver Nuggets and Jokic and the Los Angeles Lakers and what it is that the Warriors were able to do with Jimmy Butler and Steph, it just comes down to whether Jimmy, because remember Butler, this is exactly what we saw in the playoffs last year. Like he was really good for a couple of games, but without Steph, and of course he had that horrific injury where he got upended midair and landed on his back. But you're thinking, okay, can you do this for Minnesota and be the Jimmy Butler that single-handedly won the Miami Heat a title? Can you be that guy like you did when you were like 29 years of age? And as it turns out, he did it for a game and we all got excited, and then we're like, yeah, he can't. Like it's clear that without Steph and you're relying on one guy that he can't go back there anymore.
Well, I think he can do it for stretches. Like I think that's where Butler's role it just has to be there this season. Like his most important minutes are when Steph is off the floor. And I think last night, for example, in Portland, that's one of the reasons they got absolutely shellacked is because Steph and Kaminga were the only two guys that showed up. And like Kerr at the end of the first and third quarters, he threw out these lineups. And I know they didn't have Horford and Moody was coming back. He was kind of like experimenting. But there were these 2 3-minute stretches where it was Jimmy and then just the others. Like it was Pat Spencer, Will Richard, Moody, Pajemski was out there. And then some other combination. I think Post and GP2 might have been in the second group. But they just got absolutely hammered. And it's like, I understand where Kerr's thinking that Jimmy Butler is going to just take those guys and kind of keep you in a game, which is all you need to do to keep your other starters fresh. But on a night like last night where he just doesn't have it, and he's doing the Jimmy Butler thing. Like he's dribbling into the lane, stopping, pump faking. By the way, there was a play against Denver where he had a fast break, and he just pump faked twice. He laid it in, but it was like, dude, you got to just go up with that.
Yeah.
And you kind of see a little more of those moments with Jimmy Butler. And so I'm with you. I don't think that he's anyone anymore that's going to will you to a victory the way he did with the Miami Heat over those years and 2 trips to the NBA Finals. But can he be a guy that can do it for like 5 minutes in both halves? When Steph has to rest. Because the other part about this, too, is if Curry's going to be playing 32 minutes a night, well, then you're going to have to stagger and figure things out. So to me, the biggest challenge for Jimmy Butler is not being a 1-on-5 kind of guy over the course of 48, but dude, like we need 10 minutes from you.
You asked me what is it that we saw out of this team, and if there's usually it takes 20, 25 games before you really know what it is that you're working with and sort of find out the combinations that work coming off the bench and what have you. And if I take a look at this first week of the NBA season, one thing that jumped out at me is, again, it's the age. And I don't want to keep hammering that because I'm all in on this Warrior team. I think it's going to be fun to watch this year. But look at OKC, which is obviously on the other end of the spectrum. So here are the Warriors that are going back to back, and we knew it was going to be, it was going to be an issue. You had no Horford. It's an older team. You're playing, this many games in a short amount of time, albeit it's still on the West Coast. But then here's OKC, who started the season with a double overtime emotional victory against Kevin Durant in Houston. And then 2 days later, got to go to Indiana, which is absolutely charged because, the last time they played basketball, which is a Game 7, which they lost Therese Halliburton to that and lost the game to OKC. So they got to go into that environment. And then they play another double overtime game. And guess what? They won both of those. Granted, it wasn't pretty, but they walk away with wins. And doing this without one of the Jalen Williams, without, Kassan Wallace. Cason Wallace. And so one of my takeaways is, the Warriors were tired, and that certainly could serve as an excuse against Portland going back-to-back and the number of games that you played. But then look at OKC. In 2 double overtimes, they come away with victories. And that just shows you where you're at, that one team has legs and is relying on guys in their early to mid-20s, and then there's another team where your foundational pieces are on the wrong side of 35.
Yeah, I mean, and that's what the Warriors chose. They chose talent over, youth and age. And look, they're beginning to get a little bit of a blend. You're seeing
Will Richard, baby. We're going to go there today. You
like Will Richard, huh?
Don't you?
Yeah, he's fine.
Oh, heck yeah.
I mean, okay, I think his role right now is pushing Podziemski to play better. But when Moody's back and he's playing minutes, Will Richard's a good player, but it's like rookies have played each of the last 2 years for Steve Kerr, and then we found out that those second-round rookies, they got a shelf life. I'm talking about 2 centers, but that's the other part too is they actually need Al Horford and a 39-year-old center a lot more than I thought.
I'm glad that it took a half an hour for us to, get past all the, the pleasantries and good to see you and I love you and I miss you to now I'm going to thoroughly disagree with you and put you back in your rightful place when it comes to this young rookie. We can tease that and do that on the other side.
Oh man, I missed you. Yeah, okay. So we're taking calls, we're taking texts, we're taking your comments in the YouTube chat. 888-957-9570. Also the number for the Boxer and Gerson Work Injury Attorneys text line. What's your biggest takeaway from the first week of Warriors basketball? 2-1. They beat Denver in the front end of a back-to-back overtime win, statement victory. They get hammered the next night, which was last night. 20-point drubbing to the Portland Trailblazers. What have you seen from Steph? What have you seen from JK? What have you seen from the older guys, the younger guys? I'm going to get schooled on the young rookie on the other side by my partner, Dan Devone. I am Evan Giddings, and again, we are taking your calls at 888-957-9570. Warriors this week. Back after this, 95.7 The Game.
Attention. Have you racked up $10,000 or more in credit card debt? Are you barely getting by making minimum payments? With credit card debt reaching all-time highs, National Debt Relief is notifying consumers about significant debt relief options currently being made available to help those with overwhelming credit card debt. These options may reduce a large portion of credit card debt for those who qualify. You don't need to declare bankruptcy or take out a consolidation loan, and you may only have to pay back a fraction of what you owe, even if you have bad credit. National Debt Relief has already reduced the credit card debt for more than 550,000 consumers, so don't wait. If you owe $10,000, $20,000, or even $100,000 in credit card debt, you can now take advantage of this financial debt relief as the cost of living continues to skyrocket. To check what debt reduction you may qualify for, call 800-207-4545. That's 800-207-4545. Once again, that's 800-207-4545.
Butcher Boy here from my friends at Ceremony Ford, where they're bringing serious heat this month with deals that'll blow your mind. Right now, you can lease a brand new 2025 Mustang Mach-E Premium with extended range for just $299 a month. Yes, you heard me, an all-electric Mustang with power, style, and range for under $300 a month. That's not a typo. That's a steal. And if you're not feeling electric just yet, well, then no worries. Ceremony Ford's got hundreds of new and pre-owned Fords in stock and ready to roll home today. From F-150s and Broncos to Escapes and Explorers, they've got every model you could want, and the team makes it easy. No games, no nonsense, just good people who know how to take care of the Bay Area drivers, just like they did for me. You'll find them right off at 280 on Ceremony Boulevard, or check out the full lineup 24/7 at ceremonyford.com. Ceremony Ford, your Bay Area Ford store.
The NBA season tips off, and so does DraftKings' newest fantasy game. DraftKings Pick 6 is the easiest way to play for big wins, with every possession giving you a shot at real money. Here's how to play. Just pick more or less on 2 or more stats, and unlock the upside every game brings. The better your picks, the bigger your payout. Pick 6 is available in your state. Plus, new DraftKings customers can get $50 in bonus picks with just a $5 entry on your first pick set. Don't just watch basketball, cash in. Download the DraftKings Pick 6 app now and use code THEGAME. That's code THEGAME. Play just $5, get $50 in Pick 6 bonus picks. Make the call. Ride the upside in partnership with DraftKings Pick 6. The crown is yours. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Must be 18 and over. Age and eligibility varies by jurisdiction. Void where prohibited. 1 per new customer. Bonus awarded as non-withdrawable Pick 6 bonus picks that expire in 14 days. Limited time offer. See terms at pick6.draftkings.com/promos.
Dreaming of the perfect kitchen? Make it a reality at Friedman's Appliance in Pleasant Hill. Explore Bosch appliances in live working vignettes and see the innovation in action. During the Buy More, Save More event, you can get up to $4,000 in rebates on qualifying Bosch kitchen packages. From refrigerators with the Farm Fresh system to keep your food fresher longer, to dishwashers with precision wash technology that wipes out 99.9% of bacteria. Own the kitchen like a Bosch. Visit Friedman's Appliance in Pleasant Hill or online at friedmansappliance.com today.
When you own your own business, you need to keep things moving. Need to book a last-minute flight? Earn a $300 travel credit to cover that. Need to take a meeting before takeoff? Do it from the comfort of the Chase Sapphire Lounge by the club. Need to catch your breath before you board? Done. With $2,500 in annual value, the new Chase Sapphire Reserve for Business is the card that gives back all you put in. Visit chase.com/reserve business to learn more. Cards issued by JPMorgan Chase Bank, N.A. member FDIC, subject to credit approval. Terms apply.
Kohl's lowest prices of the season are here, and they're so good. You're going to wish you had enough hands for a second cart. Save on cozy tees for women, comfy jeans for boys, refreshed essentials for your home, and so much more. Because when prices are this low, self-control is overrated. Shop Kohl's lowest prices of the season and stock up now. Select styles. Offer ends October 26th. Some exclusions apply. See store or kohls.com for details.
From carriage house to glass aluminum doors, R&S Doors has a full line of commercial and residential garage doors and gates to suit anyone's taste and budget. Visit rsdoors.com. R&S Doors. Look for the red truck.
Oh, how's that flu, babe? Did you take Dayquil Intense Flu yet?
Nah, I got this. Ugh, okay, I don't got this.
You stay on the couch, and I'll grab the Dayquil.
Undo your flu symptoms with Dayquil Intense Flu. Dayquil Intense Flu provides powerful relief of your flu symptoms.
I'm ready for that to-do list.
Wow, you do got this.
Dayquil Intense Flu. The daytime coughing, aching, fever, under your flu medicine. Use as directed. Keep out of reach of children.
Nobody had to tell your grandparents not to drive while using their typewriters. Why should it be any different for us kids and our cell phones? Distracted driving was the cause of more than 3,000 deaths in 2022. Come on, we're smarter than this. Let's put down the phones and focus on the roads. Drive safe, everybody.
Don't drive distracted. A message brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, Project Yellow Light, and the Ad Council.
This is Greg Nemitz from the Autism Society. The Pettinelli Financial Golf Tournament raised over $100,000 for our organization. Thank you, sponsors, players, volunteers, and thank you, Pettinelli Financial.
Kaminga in traffic, in trouble, out to Payton. Takes the three, it's up and wide left. Kaminga hustles to the rebound. Over to Curry. Curry, quick release. It's good! And he got fouled right in front of the Warrior bench. Points 2 fingers at head coach Steve Kerr. He points back and then helps him up. How did he make that? He wasn't squared to the hoop. Kaminga flipped it to him, and he just got enough. And Jeremy Grant got him flying by. And a chance for a 4-point play.
Now back to Warriors This Week on 95.7 The Game.
Yep, back again. That is Tim Roy, the dulcet tones of the voice of the Warriors. Year 31,
wow.
Dan. Seth Curry, year 31.
I'm a big fan. I
He's
like
good.
It. And you know me. overly critical when it comes to these guys. I'm glad you pointed out Eagles kid. I like him.
Oh, Noah? Yeah, he's good.
Yeah.
Yeah, his work in the Olympics last summer was pretty damn impressive. And I think part of it, too, is like when you listen to a lot of the broadcasters, just the familiarity breeds comfort. And he sounds just like his old man.
Exactly like his old man. Same sense of humor.
Down to the mannerisms. I remember, and Ian, his father's one of my favorites because so that family, Noah's grandfather and Ian's father was a comedian. So he's a trained comic. And that was one of the reasons why Ian said growing up he always tried to introduce some sort of lightness into his broadcasts because he grew up just joking with his dad all the time. So, like I remember last year he was doing a Nets game. And
that's what he does. He does the Nets games.
Yeah, see, he's the voice of the Nets. Of course, obviously does NFL on CBS and a host of other things. But he was calling a game, and there was a player named Ham. And Ham, I don't know if it wasn't Darvin Ham, but Ham took a shot, made the shot, and he just said, yum. I'm like, that's ingenious. You know what I mean? So, yeah, some of these guys are pretty damn talented.
Yeah, no. So, what did you think of the NBC crew or NBC getting basketball again?
I thought the production was good. I was not a fan of the halftime. I think it was the first game where
with Carmelo and company. Is it?
I mean, barely. Yeah, they gave him one sentence and then they threw it to a glassy-eyed Michael Jordan for 5 minutes.
Yeah, what was that?
Wax poetic about the last time he picked up a basketball. Like, I understand Michael Jordan to many is the greatest player of all time. So. Like I saw Bill Simmons was saying, just having Michael out there brings a level of legitimacy, and anytime he talks, I'm going to listen.
Yeah.
But maybe just because I'm younger, and maybe because Michael Jordan did not say a single word about the NBA and basketball, it just didn't do it for me. I don't know.
That's interesting. That's interesting. No, I think that sort of hits because you are the targeted audience. Yeah, I grew up with Jordan. I know Jordan, and so anytime he says anything, and because it's sort of like the E.F. Hutton theory of broadcasting that, when E.F. Hutton talks, you listen, and because he never does it, aside from that of his documentary in The Last Dance, that if he's going to be on one of the major networks, someone like me is just going to listen to whatever the hell it is he has to say because he never does it. But for someone like you, that fascinates me because you never hear from the guy, so what's, hearing from him now doesn't really move the needle, I suppose.
I mean, it's a reminder of how great he is, but I think excuse me, I think like the bar has been set so high for older players and just analysts in general, I think by the inside the NBA crew, that I think you really got to be bringing something unique to the table for me to feel interested in what you have to say about the game. Like, and again, he wasn't talking about the game. I think sitting there and listening to story time with Michael Jordan, it wasn't even really a story time. It was just us. It was almost like a reintroduction. Tarico was asking him questions about the last time he picked up a ball and what's he been doing and why now. And so maybe the future conversations, because I think they'll do this every Tuesday with MJ. It's like a 3 to 5 minute kind of sit down. I doubt he'll actually be at any of these games, but maybe that over the course of time is going to get a little better. But I guess I just was kind of left wondering. Yeah, again, like why is he doing this? Because he still doesn't seem that interested in the game of basketball, a game that he used to dominate at a level that very few have.
Yeah, and keep in mind that these things aren't time sensitive. So it was the halftime of what game was that? I don't even remember.
Oh, it was at halftime.
It was I believe it was the OKC, right? It was the
OKC Houston. Yeah,
and so it was at halftime. So it's not time sensitive. It has nothing to do with the game itself. So what they'll do is that they'll just maybe do one interview a month, if that, and it'll be for a half an hour. And so they'll just edit out like 2 or 3 minutes and then show that on various broadcasts for the next month. So it's not as though he's going to do something every week or every 2 weeks. He'll just say, all right, Tariq, come on over and we'll talk for a half an hour. And then they'll find little segments, fragmented segments of that interview that they can play during the week.
Yeah, that's fair. I mean, again, I understand NBC trying to bring the biggest, and I actually thought the biggest addition to that crew was, we talked about Noah. It's Mike Tirico. Mike Tirico is to me, he's the gold standard of play-by-play.
Yeah, no, he's amazing. What's that? Pasta? Or not pasta. Caddy Zach, what'd you say? Caddy Zach, so every time, our producers will blow in our ear.
He's not talking to me. What the hell? It's
not audible to you guys. So typically Pasta will say, like, by the way, Pajemski had 3 points and 2 fouls last night, and then I can spit out this useless knowledge. Meanwhile,
you got a computer in front of you, by the way.
Caddy Zach, he is my computer. Caddy Zach is in my ear saying, Indiana just scored pick 6. They're up 7-0. And so, but he was actually, so Caddy Zach, you're talking about the Amazon crew? I did not see them.
But it says they're third and goal. What are you talking about?
Well, that was like 15 minutes ago when I said that.
Oh, apologies.
What's up with Amazon?
Yeah, so I don't know if you guys checked it out, but they added like a new element during the halftime show. They had like a virtual court during the during the halftime show, and they showed like different plays and stuff, and they used like this iPad, and you could see the plays that the teams were running, and they did a great job. It was something new. They had Udonis Haslam, Blake Griffin, Steve Nash. There might have been one other guy, but it was great. So you guys got to check that out.
Oh, wow.
Cool. Yeah, well, I think the Warriors have a Prime game on Tuesday. I think that's their first Amazon Prime game, and I think it's against the Clippers. I could be wrong about that, but I know they have their first Prime game coming up this week.
By the way, for Michael Jordan, before we get back to the Warriors, I got a suggestion for a new sponsor for NBC and the Michael Jordan segment.
Your company?
It's called Visine. Like, Jesus Christ, my man.
Dude,
you might want to bathe in that stuff.
I didn't want to say anything, but...
What's up with the bloodshot eyes?
Okay.
Has he been on a bender for the last 4 days?
No, this is a question I legitimately have for those that like cigars. If you smoke 1 million cigars over the course of your life, is that what's going to happen to you? Like your skin complexion just kind of goes to the wayside?
Well, the bloodshot eyes is usually booze and no sleep.
The guy is drunk.
Kevin Harlan, you said it. Also, before we get back into the Warriors, and I promise we will, I see AJ in LA. We're going to get to you in a sec. For the 510, shout out to St. Mary's football playing Pinole Valley today. Brian Levy, Panther Pride. Let's go. I honestly haven't checked in too much on St. Mary's football in recent years, but I know that we used to have quite a damn good football team that I was not a part of. All right, AJ in LA. Let's get back into the Warriors. Warriors this week, Giddings and Devone right here on 95.7 The Game. AJ is in LA. AJ, what did you make of the first week and the first 3 games? Welcome to the program, man. What's up?
Hey, what's going on? Thank you. I'm on the Bluetooth. Can you hear me well?
Yeah, I got you. Loud and clear.
Awesome. So, first couple games, I thought they played well. We saw some things, but they were solid, man. And the fresh legs were important because, when we got to the back-to-back, we were able to kind of, see some things with this team where they'll probably have some major challenges. But one of the main reasons why I called is that I'm so shocked at the bar that this organization has put the 2-guard position at this point. Like they value the 2 literally at the same level as they value the 5 over the last many years Kirby with the organization. It's like since Clay and Poole took off, it's like they're like the hell with the 2 position. And no disrespect to Poole, not Poole, but what's my guy name?
Will Richard?
Moody?
Pods.
Oh, Pods.
No, Pods. No disrespect to Pods, but when I watch him, honestly, guys, I'm still shocked that he's even in the NBA. It shocks me all the time. I can't believe that we went from Jordan Poole and Clay to Pods at the 2-guard position. It is unbelievable to me. And it's not even a laughing matter. I think this guy is a fringe G leaguer, and I've always said that he's really like the organization really just inflated him to this role where he shouldn't be. This is a royal position for the Warriors simply because you're coming from a guy like Klay Thompson. I've never seen an organization go from that high of a 2-guard role to this. You know, it's really a steep decline because, you know, this team, like the Warriors, haven't even been to a championship without Klay Thompson. You know, or Andre Iguodala, who played two guard much of his career until he arrived to like the Nuggets and then obviously to the Warriors. But these guys were always known as twos, you know? I mean, it's so important because defensively, this was the position that basically protected Steph, where Steph really didn't have to do much on the other side of the floor. And to credit to Steph, he's gotten stronger over the years where he can be serviceable as a defensive player. But now we're at the two-guard position, and we have nothing defensively. We have nothing shooting. We have no shot-making ability from the two-guard position. And we literally just converted this connector role. Like, we've sacrificed talent for this random position called the connector. Where the hell did the connector come from? Like, this isn't to me, a connector for the Warriors is this guy that's the favorite, but he can't play basketball. Like, I don't care about a connector. I need a guy who can put the ball in the basket, especially at the two-guard position, you know?
I got you, AJ. Yeah, no, AJ, appreciate the call, man. Point taken. Well, he's right. When you put it like that, you've gone from Klay Thompson to Brandon Podziemski. But I think the thing that made the Warriors so good is, you know, you consider Klay a 2, Iguodala a 2, whatever you want to call it. Like, they used to have just positionless basketball out there at all spots. Curry was the point, and then you could play with 3 to sometimes 4 wings that could switch, that could shoot, that could play on both ends. And I agree with you wholeheartedly, AJ. They don't have that. But that's one of the reasons why they're not challenging for, or haven't challenged for a championship the last couple seasons.
Yeah, I think it's unfair to compare anybody who's going to play the two guard to Klay Thompson and Steph Curry back in the day. Like, that was just so special. And that's why they're the best shooting backcourt tandem in the history of the sport. You're just never going to find another Klay Thompson, the Klay Thompson who is, you know, on top of his game.
They're just one of the best backcourts in the history of basketball.
Yeah, the best two-way player in the game. That Klay Thompson, not the mirror image of himself that he's portraying right now. And the other thing we have to keep in mind, what was the caller's name?
AJ.
AJ, keep in mind that DeAnthony Melton is coming back at some point. And I think that Podziemski could be playing himself out of a role with the Warriors with the emergence of Richard and with the return of DeAnthony Melton, because the Warriors are really big on Melton.
Yeah, they are, and they should be. I think last year is a very small sample size, but the early returns were good with him. I think
2 years ago.
Melton was last year.
Wasn't he injured? They traded him last year.
Yeah, but he was.
Oh yeah, in the beginning of the year,
early in the year. Yeah, I think he only played like 6 games, but there was that early win against OKC, you know, on the road, and he looked really good alongside Steph. So if he can stay healthy, that's certainly an option. I think to AJ's point, reinforcements are coming. I think that this is the first time, and I was talking about this last night, this is the first time where Pods really has to challenge for minutes. Like, if you think about his career so far, when he first got here, one of the reasons that he played, yes, he was, the leader in plus minus, and, you know, I think he had a better rookie season than people give him credit for, but they didn't have any guards. And last year, after Melton got hurt, they traded for Schroeder because Pods was unplayable. He was not a very good shooter. He got hurt. I thought he came back and played pretty well the second half of the season, but they didn't have anyone. Like, they had to get rid of Schroeder, because he wasn't helping you, and he helped you acquire Jimmy Butler. So your 3 guards were essentially Curry, Podziemski, and Pat Spencer. Like, those were your 3 guards. Now this team, and it speaks to the job that Dunlevy has done acquiring more depth and adding, I think, just kind of ancillary pieces to this roster is you look at how many guards they have now. Well, you don't just have Curry and Spencer and Pods. You also have Melton. You also have your boy Richard. If Kerr is willing to play a larger lineup, we saw them finish with Kaminga as your de facto 2. Maybe Moses Moody can do it. I'm not sure. But there are more players to challenge for those minutes now than there's ever been at least since Podziemski's been on this team.
Do you want to get into Will Richard?
Let's do it. What do you like about him?
Well, here's the thing. Well, what don't you like about him? Let's start there.
It's not that I don't like him. It's the fact that he's the 52nd overall pick, and I feel like eventually that's going to rear its head.
Yeah, and it typically does, and we've seen that with the Warriors. Like Quentin Post.
By the way, he traveled twice last night.
Yeah, Quentin Post, when he first came onto the team, we're like, oh, my God, we were a prisoner of the moment. Like, oh, Quentin Post, here's the stretch five they've never had. And then the more he plays, you realize that, oh, okay, this is why you went in the 6th round in the 50s.
Yeah,
is
you
because
can't guard a cone.
You're not an athlete. You can't move. Same thing could be said about Trace Jackson Davis to a certain degree. Very limited. Can't shoot from the outside. The complete opposite of a Quentin Post. He has no exterior game and limited as to what it is that he can do. But still, there's an upside there. And the before-mentioned Brandon Podziemski, we're beginning to see that the limitations on this guy, although he went 17 in the first round. The difference is with Will Richard, it's a different sort of an athlete. Like Quentin Post does not have the ability to go the full 94 feet like this kid. Now, again, am I being a prisoner of the moment? Clearly. We need to let this breathe. We need to see this guy play a little bit more.
Talk about like Aaron
basketball.
Gordon.
Yeah.
This guy can take flight.
But what it is that we're seeing out of him is very different because this is not Quentin Post. This is not Trace Jackson Davis. This is somebody that is, if nothing else, showing you that he can run and that he's an athlete and that he's willing to defend and that there is an energy. And I can see why Kerr's like, I don't need to see any more. I'll plug you in right now, even though we're at full strength. Because, kid, you've got exactly what it is that I need to complement this particular team with, and that is young legs and a guy that wants to get out on the break, a guy that wants to be disruptive, the guy that wants to protect both rims. To me, that's jumping off the screen. That this guy, granted, is a second round, but very different from that of the before-mentioned Post and or a Trace Jackson Davis.
No, I think he clearly knows how to play. I think Will Richard has shown very early on that he's a winning basketball player. He does a lot of little things.
Yeah.
But if you need him to do big things, I think you're going to be in trouble.
Well, you don't, though, right?
Well, but you're talking about him taking over minutes for pods, which would be like starting minutes. Like, I think with Will Richard, his role right now giving you 15 to 17 off the bench.
That's all I'm talking about.
Oh, yeah. Well, then we're on the same page. We're speaking the same language. I think he's perfect. But if he's playing 25 minutes, which is what I'm hearing a lot of people want him to because they want to see pods demoted, which is fine. I get it. He's not playing very well. Last night he was awful. But I just think someone like Will Richard is somebody that he's in a perfect spot right now. Like in a way, I think he kind of gives you a lot of the things that someone like Gary Payton II gives you. He's a smart player. He's good at the point of attack. He can run the floor. He's more athletic than people maybe give him credit for. Isn't a knockdown three-point shooter, but can make one on occasion, and is not going to hurt you. Like when he's on the floor, you're not going to get buried. And that's one of the things of it. Like he's a floor, I don't know, floor keeper, I guess you want to call it. But, I think people looking at Will Richard like he's the second coming of Jordan Poole, that's a bit too far for me.
Yeah, when I see him play, it's not as though, like when I saw Quentin Post, if you recall, I'm like, yeah, I'm not buying this yet. And everybody's like, oh, we got to stretch five. You see how many threes he shot? And Trace Jackson Davis, I still like and think he has an upside, but you could see that there's going to be another shoe that's going to drop. Like if they play more basketball, we're going to see that there's clearly limitations in their game, and there was. This guy, while I'll give him the 15 minutes now, towards the end of the year, if he continues to on this trajectory, I could see him getting to 20 to 25. Because what you're asking of him is just defend. We've got shooters. We got veterans. We don't need you to do anything more than just be this dude who's going to get out, be energetic, help defend, and then just get out of the break and fill a lane. I think that this is – I don't see that – I could be wrong, but I don't see the fall from grace with him that clearly I felt as though it was just a matter of time with, Trace Jackson Davis and Quentin Post.
888-957-9570 is the number. Warriors this week with Evan Giddings and Dan Devone. What have you taken away from the first week of basketball for the Warriors? I think Steph Curry described it as a professional win in Game 1, a gritty win in Game 2, ran into a brick wall in Game 3 last night in Portland. What have you made of the first week? I think someone like Will Richard is a reflection of the depth of this team, and he's going to play. Like, there's also going to be games where guys are going to get banged up, guys are going to get load managed. I think his value, and he did help them beat the Lakers, and I thought he played well against Denver too. But I think, like, that's when Melton's back, when Moody's healthy. The games like last night to me are where someone like Will Richard should be able to help you, because your older guys are just not going to have it. Like, I actually think that last night Kerr probably, and maybe because it's Game 3 and he's like, well, these guys haven't run into a wall yet, but he probably should have played more of his younger players, because the advantage for Portland was they're just out and running. Like, even if you just go watch the highlights from last time, you don't have to go watch the game, and I don't suggest it was a bad game. But if you just watch the 3-minute highlights, in every single highlight of the Trailblazers, they're running. Like, they're just in transition. They're getting open shots. They're getting to the rim. They're out working the Warriors. And a lot of that was with their older guys on the floor. Curry was good enough to keep them in it, but I think those are the kinds of games, especially against those kinds of teams, where someone like Will Richard's energy is going to be a plus. So, I mean, that's where I think someone like him is going to help this team.
See, I would guard him against playing in those games where you don't have the veteran leadership. Like, I think a perfect role for him is like the Laker game and the Denver game, where he has a specific role. Meanwhile, we're still being reliant on Jimmy Butler and Steph Curry and Draymond Green. If those guys are injured, or if it's back-to-back and they don't have fresh legs, that's when I think a guy like Will Richard gets exposed or becomes vulnerable, where you're like, okay, you need to go out and do more. Like, now I need you to score, and now I need you to play big minutes, and now I need you to pick up the slack for Jimmy Butler because he's not bringing it. Like, he's good right now in a limited role, and bring him along accordingly. If you ask him to eat too much on his plate, then I think he gets exposed a little bit.
Well, I think as we move forward here, and I see you, Scott in Berkeley, we got to hit a quick break here. I'll get you on the other side, I promise. It's incumbent on the other younger players, to me, to take those steps. And there's one that we haven't talked about yet, who I do believe has taken a leap, and that is Jonathan Kaminga. And I think we got to talk about him on the other side, because he represents the younger guys who have, I think, a lot to do with how much success this team can have. And it's because of how they've played alongside the OGs, and it's because of how in a game like last night, they might actually need to do more. I think there's other younger players other than Will Richard that can take that step forward to keep other guys in their roles. All right, Evan Giddings, Dan Devone here on Warriors This Week. 888-957-9570 is the number. We're taking your calls, your texts, your comments on YouTube. What have you made of the first week of the 2025-26 NBA season? All that ahead, 1 hour in the books, hours 2 and 3, coming up until noon on 95.7 The Game.
Bay Area, what's up? It's your guy, Bonte Hill, shouting out my friends at Ceremony Ford. If you think you missed your chance to save on an electric ride, think again. Ceremony Ford is dropping a deal you don't want to sleep on. You can lease a 2025 Mustang Mach-E Premium with extended range for just $299 a month. Yeah, you heard that right. An all-electric Mustang for under $300 a month. And if electric's not your vibe, no worries, my friends. Ceremony's got a massive lineup of new and pre-owned Fords ready to roll. F-150s, Broncos, Escapes, you name it. Right now, I'm rolling in the Explorer myself, and man, I love it. And let me tell you, these folks don't play games or haggle. Just good, honest people taking care of Bay Area drivers like you and me. So swing by Ceremony Ford, right off 280 on Ceremony Boulevard, or check out that Mach-E lease for just $299 a month at ceremonyford.com. Ceremony Ford, your Bay Area Ford store.
In San Diego, kids are standing up against big tobacco.
We are here to discuss the urgent issue of vapes being sold near schools and other places where people gather.
I was enticed, like so many others my age, and this is exactly how the tobacco market was trying to get me to react, and I was completely unaware.
Today, over 100 California communities restrict tobacco sales near youth spaces, like schools and parks. Learn how these teens and other Californians are beating big tobacco at undo.org.
What if you had the smartest Wi-Fi? If you did, it'd be Xfinity, of course, and it'd come with their best state-of-the-art equipment. It would boost speeds to the devices that needed them most, prioritizing your most important connections, whether you were streaming, gaming, or gaming while pretending to work. And it would let you stream 4. That's right, 4 games on one screen. It would even power your mobile connection so you could bring faster, secure Wi-Fi speeds with you where you use it most. It would be proactive and fix problems before you knew you had them. Impressive, right? And it would have security features that protect you from threats at home and online. Kinda like a force field for your life. If you had the smartest Wi-Fi, well, everything would work together seamlessly to keep you connected, no matter what. Xfinity. Imagine that. Restrictions apply.
20th Century Studios presents Springsteen. Witness a true story of risking it all.
These new songs, they're the only thing making sense to me right now.
To fight for what you believe in.
This is not gonna be good for Bruce. I don't need to be perfect. I just want it to feel right.
Springsteen. Rated PG-13. Parental guidance suggested for children under 13. Now playing only in theaters.
The Golden State Warriors are back, and there's nothing more refreshing than an ice-cold Surfside to enjoy while you cheer on your Warriors. Surfside is only 100 calories, 2 grams of sugar, and 0 bubbles. That's right, no carbonation, so it's easy to sip and enjoy. It's not a seltzer, it's Surfside, proud partner of the Golden State Warriors. Sold in arena and at bars, restaurants, and stores near you. Must be 21. Please drink responsibly.
Are you curious about who offers the best deals on top-rated Samsung, LG, and Sony TVs? The answer is surprising. It's not online, and it's not the warehouse clubs. The best deals on top-rated TVs are at Video Only. Don't believe it? Then check out the trade-in deals at Video Only. How about $500 for your old TV? Try doing that online. Before you buy that new TV, drop into Video Only. If you don't, you'll be sorry.
Oakland, it's the final home game of the season. The Roots take on Lexington SC Saturday, October 25th at the Coliseum. After the match, enjoy Ruby Red and fireworks. Get tickets at OaklandRootsSC.com or watch live on ESPN Plus and KTVU Plus. Oakland's team, Oakland's movement.
Too many tools, too much stress, and way too many bills.
Odoo replaces it all. One connected platform for every part of your business, so you can work faster, smarter, and for less. Odoo, the only software you'll ever need. Try it free today at odoo.com. That's ODOO.com.
Red and Gold Game Day starts at Laughing Monk Brewing. Park for free. Enjoy amazing food, ice-cold beer, and every game on TV. Catch 95.7 The Game's pregame show. Then hop on the free shuttle straight to the stadium. Sign up now at 957thegame.com.
At Skechers, comfort is a technology. That's right. You don't just make a shoe and hope it comes out comfortable. It takes research, innovations, compounds, engineering, and so much more to feel so comfortable you'd swear you're wearing pillows on your feet. We have features like Skechers Air-Cooled Memory Foam and fits like Relax Fit, Stretch Fit, Wide Fit, Arch Fit, and so many more to make the shoe feel like it was custom-made just for your foot. Plus, we have hands-free Skechers Slip-ins technology. Just step in and go. Find yours at a Skechers store, Skechers.com, or wherever comfortable footwear is sold.
As a mom, comforting my family is what I do best. Vicks Vapor Stick provides soothing, non-medicated Vicks Vapors in an easy-to-apply stick, and it dries fast, so there's no mess. I use it to comfort myself and my family.
Thanks, Mom.
Vicks Vapo Stick, soothing comfort for the whole family. And try Vicks Vapo Shower Max for steamy Vicks Vapors when you need more comfort for yourself. Use as directed.
You're listening to 95.7 The Game, KGMZ FM in HD1 San Francisco on Odyssey Sports Station. Always live on the free Odyssey app, Twitch, and YouTube. Powered by First NorCal Credit Union.
Kaminga at half court. Waits for post, got a screen. Kaminga accelerates, drives on Klingon, and dunked him right over the top of him, and they foul. Donovan Klingon, welcome to social media. You'll be on TikTok, YouTube, wherever. What a dunk
Now back to Warriors This Week on 95.7 The Game.
Yeah, Tim Roy, voice of the Golden State Warriors, aptly put. I think Donovan Clingan was all over social media last night. Did you have a chance to catch that dunk, Dan? It was pretty nasty.
You know what's a little deceptive is that we keep showing these audio highlights of the Warriors doing well when they got smoked, Pasta.
Yeah,
do you have any Kevin Calabro, the voice of the Portland Trailblazers?
He's pretty good.
Collabs is the best.
I have all the Aaron Gordon you'll ever need, Dan.
Well, but they won
that
game. They won that game.
Oh yeah, that's right.
I need some Jeremy Grant. I
have those
some
too.
Denny Avdija.
I definitely have him.
I think Denny Avdija, he can get up there. He's quicker than you think.
Yeah,
he's a nice little player.
He's playing the Israeli national team. And he,
Omri Caspi,
drafted at the age of 17.
Air Israel. Yeah, he was like what, a top 3 pick, Washington guy. Yeah, Portland
They got some boys, and I always like the holidays. If you get a holiday, you got a winner.
Well, and that's the thing. So Scoot Henderson's been out for him because he tore his hamstring in preseason.
You're not missing that, dude. You're better off without him.
I agree, but you get Scoot back, you get Robert Williams, the third back. I mean, I don't know. Maybe Young Hansen is just taking those minutes. The 19-year-old from China, 7-footer. They got some size.
Diago Splitter, the new guy calling the shots out there?
Oh, well.
Because co-conspirator number 8 is...
Okay, hold on. Okay, I was going to say, it's been an hour. We haven't talked about this yet. I do want to get into that. Before we do, I promised...
Not talking about this.
No, we will. I promised Scott in Berkeley that we would take his call before we dive into the conspiracy theories and Chauncey Billups. So, Scott, welcome to Warriors This Week. It's good to hear from you. What do you got, man? Good morning.
Good morning, gentlemen. How are you?
Fantastic. What do you got?
You know, the thing in thinking about Richard, first thing, is that he kind of analogizes to where Horford was when he came out of Florida. Because if you remember, okay, he comes off a national champion. He wasn't the star. That was Walter Clayton. And then back in 04 and 05 when
Billy
Florida
Donovan
went back-to-back? Yeah. Okay. Al wasn't the star. It was really Joakim Noah. But you could always tell with Al that he was probably going to end up being the better player because he had his fundamentals down better. So I kind of look at Will and it's like there's a maturity more with him that I like. Now, you know, he may be the guy who can kind of like adjust to not playing some nights and then getting minutes the other nights. And as for the other subject, the only thing I can say I'm hoping that we have a league next week. But the thing that worries me more about that now is that, okay, you have one guy who's connected to a guy in Los Angeles. And when Chauncey did his perp walk yesterday, you saw the hoodie he was wearing and what it said on it, right?
I missed it. Scott, enlighten me.
Clutch Sports Group.
LeBron.
There's something, this is going to get... Basketball has always long been probably the easiest access to gambling or gamblers, going back to the 40s. And so it's kind of, I won't say it's a big thing, but Chauncey's case is just so weird because that's more James Bondian. But I lived for 23 years over in Europe, and gambling is kind of a common thing. It's really kind of much more. It's been much more accepted. It's gone on over there for I think over 100 years. We're barely into the 8th year of gambling having broken out big time. So we're kind of in a situation where everything's going to go wild for a while until we kind of put some controls or better controls or separations in there. So anyway, that's my thoughts, fellas. I'll talk to you soon.
Hey, wait, before we leave you, you were in Europe, and speaking of gambling and sports, are you familiar with Palio di Siena? The horse race in Siena. Okay.
I never lived in Italy.
Okay. I tried to send my man here.
Yeah, this is the one you've been trying to set me up with, right?
Anyways, thanks for the call.
Appreciate it, Scott.
Awesome call, Scott, by the way. Couldn't agree with him more on the first part about Will Richard.
He's an Italian.
About Will Richard. Don't make me out to be that guy.
That was really really astute, where he was going with the Joakim, and I don't know if you remember that team with Al Horford, Billy Donovan. They won back-to-back national championships.
Corey Brewer was
at Florida.
Score.
Yeah, and so it was Joakim Noah that really was the star, those Twin Towers. And Horford was just out of his, good fundamental player. But, here we are some 15 years later, and he's still doing his thing.
I'm pretty sure Al Horford was a high pick, though.
Oh, he's a high pick, but...
He's a third overall pick.
God,
what are we doing here?
Jesus, Scott. What the hell are you giving me?
I'm just saying, man. It's okay, in college, he's right. Joakim Noah and Al Horford were maybe seen as somewhat of equal, but, by the way, the Warriors did want Walter Clayton Jr. There's this kind of I don't want to use the word conspiracy because we might talk about that, but there was this thought that the Warriors were trying to trade into the first round at around 17 to take Walter Clayton Jr. because they really liked him. And that was also a big reason why when they eventually had a spot to take Will Richard, they just watched a lot of Florida. And I think it's obvious. Like, you go back to some of his tape in college, the national championship game stands out, and immediately you see, like, the guy he just has a feel for the game. And those are the kinds of players that Steve Kerr likes and is going to play. Like, there was a clip from training camp where Steve Kerr was talking with Jimmy Butler. He's like, wow, like this kid just knows what he's doing. And so I think that that Will Richard is carving out a role. And this idea that Kerr doesn't want to play young players is abjectly false because he's done it each of the last few seasons when he's had to.
And I also like the fact that he's played in national championship games. I do think that there's a carryover. If you've seen him play, he got the game ball in his first NBA game against the Lakers. Like, he's not wide-eyed at all. Whereas Pajemski coming out of Santa Clara, and then you got the kid Post out of Boston College. I mean, this guy is just, he's like, yeah, all right, whatever. I played in front of, bigger houses than this. And he looks like he's making that seamless transition.
Yeah, I agree. And then,
what's the conspiracy?
Did you want to talk about it?
Yeah, go ahead. No, I'll go wherever you want to go.
Well, on Thursday, Chauncey Billups was picked up by Kash Patel and the FBI, along with Terry Rozier and I think 32 others involved in a gambling investigation into the NBA. Chauncey was picked up because of his involvement in an illegal poker ring. But the more you kind of dig into some of the, I don't know, like did you end up reading the report? Because you mentioned Co-Conspirator 8.
No, I do know about Co-Conspirator 8. So it wasn't just relegated to the poker game.
Yeah.
But also he is allegedly, and again, not by name, but Co-Conspirator number 8 as far as leaking some sort of information that
that was something that
beneficial to the wagers
under the radar because he wasn't named, but I had to imagine that he was involved in it somehow. That's why he got picked up. But so Damon Jones, longtime assistant coach and close with LeBron James from his time back with the Cavs, was basically just giving out information about guys who are playing, not going to be playing much, so people can hit their over-unders, can hit their prop bets. And Chauncey Billups, while it wasn't named and is, they're still, I guess, figuring this out, there was a co-conspirator 8 under the listing. I think this was like the Terry Rozier thing where he checked in for some time. There was like $200,000 that came in, 30-plus bets on him to hit his under minutes that game, checks out with an injury, and doesn't play the rest of the season. This was back in 2023. They said that a co-conspirator 8, who was defined as an NBA player from around 1997 to around 2012 or 13, which fits Chauncey Billups, and had recently become an NBA head coach
and lives in
around
Oregon.
the year 2021 and lives in the state of Oregon, was also involved in leaking information about his team tanking at the end of the 2023 year and was giving out inside information. So while Chauncey Billups was not explicitly named in the report, co-conspirator 8 is almost explicitly defined as Mr. Billups.
I think a lot is going to be revealed between now and then.
This is just the tip of the iceberg.
We're not exactly sure. And again, we have to maintain that this is all being alleged. I would say this on a general sense. this doesn't look good. This doesn't bode well for Adam Silver, who was once thought to be the golden child, the guy who was saving the NBA. They got rid of Donald Sterling. It's like there were no flies on Adam Silver. Over the last couple of years, I would say that beginning with this offseason and Kawhi Leonard and aspiration and working for a company that didn't even really exist and getting $28 million for doing nothing, as we found out now we're seeing one of the more prominent coaches coming under fire in an investigation. Not to mention that I know this is on a much different level, but he hasn't been able to get the NBA All-Star game straight for the last 10 years. But the Terry Rozier thing, I think really, that's egg on the face of Adam Silver. Because that was back in 2023 where it was, I want to say they have that governing body when everybody bets. What is it? Is it the integrity firm, I believe, the United States integrity firm? If they see unusual money and unusual play by a particular player, they'll red flag it.
Which they did.
And they did, and they sent it to the NBA and said, hey, look at this Terry Rozier guy, you need to investigate him. They did, and Adam Silver didn't do anything. And then, sure enough, cut to 2 years later, and here's the FBI with their big sting operation, and guess who's in the middle of it? One Terry Rozier. So once again, I think that just in an overall sense, that Adam Silver has got a lot of egg in his face, and this does not look well for him going forward.
And it obviously reflects poorly on the players, but I agree, it reflects poorly on the league. I mean, the NBA and the NFL has had their issues. MLB this year with someone like Emmanuel Clase, he's probably going to never throw another pitch in Major League Baseball. Like this happens across sports, but the NBA specifically has had opportunities to nip it as much as they can in the bud. Like I think that Adam Silver, his image is as a players commissioner. Like this has become somewhat of a players league. Guys are making more money than ever. Guys are involved in different media ventures. And while I think that's largely good, guys have had opportunities, it also, I just feel like the image of the NBA is that it's run by the players, not by Adam Silver. And that was not the case with David Stern. David Stern, who was his predecessor, ran a pretty tight ship. And there's a lot of stories from former players come out and saying that, I mean, Carmelo Anthony had this one story where he was involved in some off-court issue. David Stern made a call to him and said, if this continues, you are going to be out of the league. And that's Carmelo Anthony. It's a future Hall of Famer. Like, he was someone that would, and I know that there were issues in gambling and problems in the 90s as well, but David Stern, I think, was largely, the image of him was, at least to my understanding, more of a czar than someone that would let players kind of do what they wanted. And I think that while, again, it allows fans to feel more connected to the players, I just don't think that Adam Silver has had a good pulse on what the league needs, and where it's going is not in a good direction. And I do not think that this is the first nor the last case of this happening.
Well, let's keep in mind that he was the first commissioner of a major sport that really wanted to marry himself to gambling, even before it was legalized, even before PAPSA, going back to 2014. I remember him arguing, saying, look, it is so big. It's bigger than us. You may as well legalize it. He's talking to the government, right, at the federal level. You may as well legalize it and tax the hell out of it, because they understood. Listen, just to take you back, when it comes to commissioners, whether it's Goodell or whether it's Manfred, they work for the owners, right? Which is why Roger Goodell could do whatever it is that he wants to do as long as he's making money. We may see him, the most egregious acts, like get rid of him. These guys aren't going anywhere unless they stop the bottom line, which is stop making money for the owners. And Roger Goodell isn't doing that. The owners will not fire these guys. And as it relates to Adam Silver, he's just looking to create new revenue streams for the owners. So he wanted to tap, and I think it was really innovative at the time, saying, look, I don't care. Gambling's no longer a four-letter word. We want to be with them. We want to align ourselves and collaborate with betting. And they were the first. You would walk into basketball arenas, and for the first time, you would see signage from FanDuel and DraftKings and BetUS and MG, and that was the NBA that pioneered all of that, which is fine. But you sure as hell better watchdog it if that's what you're going to do. Like if you want to marry yourself to gambling, then you have got to police this with the players, because you know that this is going to be an inevitability, right? Like if you're going to get this close to professional gambling and involve your players, you got to make sure, and they do. They have signage in just about every locker room, do not gamble, and all the warnings. But you have to make sure that what happened with Rozier and with Chauncey Billups does not happen on your watch, especially when not the FBI, but this separate firm, the United States Integrity Firm, is giving you Terry Rozier and saying, look, you can nip this in the bud, and then you just simply pass it along. Again, Adam Silver wanted to get into gambling. He did, but if that's what you're going to do, then you need to police this and oversee it a lot better than he has.
Well, and Brian Windhorst reported that there was a thought that, again, they knew about this. And it wasn't just that they investigated
about the Billups thing as well?
No, but I'm not sure about the Billups thing. But Terry Rozier, there's a reason why he didn't play for the remainder of that season. And it wasn't because he was injured. The NBA went in and essentially said, you're done, and then conducted their own investigation. But it feels very clearly now, based on what happened on Thursday, that they were trying to sweep this under the rug, that they just didn't want anybody to know about it, that they were going to continue to let these guys do what they do as long as they weren't a smear on the league, which it now clearly has become. And this idea that it's all, I've heard the theories about the political connections and whatnot. The fact remains, whether you can believe what you want to believe, but this is bad for the NBA. What happened on Thursday is a bad look for a league that, to your point, has aligned itself with gambling. And now people across the country, fans of basketball around the world, are learning that this league and its players are more closely associated than just with sponsorships. And that is never good for a brand that is supposed to be about entertainment. And we know it's not. We know that gambling runs rampant. You can place bets on whatever you want in and out of the arena. But the moment your players are participating in it, the moment your workforce is engaging in that kind of issue, you have to bring the hammer down. And I think that Adam Silver, for the first time, maybe in his tenure as commissioner, he's going to be forced to do that. He's done it with owners. He's done it with other members outside of the playing community. He's going to have to do it with players
and
coaches.
If nothing else, this is the shot across the bow, right? Like, maybe this had to happen so that everybody in the NBA who is thinking of doing this, first of all, it's really stupid if you read the report as to what it is that they were doing. But I think that now everybody realizes, like, okay, we can't even be doing this. Like, I can't even be thinking about potentially doing, because there's a lot of players in the NBA that either thought about it or doing it currently.
Of course. And
because I don't know if you've been on a flight, I haven't, but everybody, essentially, they're either playing dominoes.
Well, in the air, it's illegal.
Yeah, I know, but gambling is very prevalent in the NBA, and so this to me was just a matter of time before we got to this place. But I do think it now just serves as a warning to everybody else that, hey, listen, man, don't do it.
Yeah, I'm with you. 888-957-9570 is the number. Evan Giddings, Dan Devone on Warriors This Week. Every Saturday, 9 to noon here on 95.7 The Game, talking about the week that was for the Golden State Warriors. Let's go out to Los Altos and talk to our guy, Bobby. Bobby, what's up, man? Good morning.
Yeah. Hey, good morning, fellas. Thank you for the enthusiastic hello, and thank you for taking my call. I called in specifically on 2 points around the Warriors, but I guess I'd like to throw my thoughts into this gambling thing. So I'll start with the actually topic on hand, the Warriors. Look, I'm no Pajemski apologist. I'm not a huge fan. I'm not a hater. But what I don't understand is why so many callers come in and act like Steve Curry is somehow protecting or guaranteeing minutes to Pods as if somehow he owes him a gambling debt. It's the point is, if the other players were better in practice, or they showed that they were smarter basketball players or could play on the floor with Steph, they'd get those minutes. So why is everyone so mad at Kerr and acting like somehow JK is getting cheated because Pod's taking his minutes. How about it's just that the other players aren't, I'll say smart enough, but you know what I mean, to be on the floor and to give Steve Kerr confidence that they can be productive players on the floor. I mean, clearly, Will Richard, who whatever, his career is two games, is showing that he has the confidence. He's been given the confidence by Kerr to play on the floor. So are we going to start hating on Richard because he's taking minutes from Kaminga? I just don't understand that. You want to take Pod's minutes, just be better. And then as it relates to the game last night, of course, a win is a win and a loss is a loss. So that's what makes it kind of painful, right, that we would have a great win 2 nights ago and then last night get blown out. But the thing that disturbed me the most is that Curry played the most minutes. The old man played the most minutes, and he did he even play like 3 minutes in the fourth quarter? How does the oldest guy play the most minutes, and then the younger guys don't get more time? So I will say this. The game was always within reach. I guess in the NBA, 18 points is within reach the whole time. But Kaminga should have gotten way more than 24 minutes. I think Pod should have gotten more time. I don't understand why Hield and Payton didn't get more time. And so I guess my point is this. On a back-to-back where you know that the other team, all they're going to do is just run and tire you out, why is our oldest player playing the most minutes when he didn't even have to play, when he got pulled early? So it's early and it's an experiment, but like this idea that, hey, it's the beginning of the season, so everyone's legs are still fresh, I just don't buy that. I think you just got to figure out how to manage that, because obviously we're going to have a bunch of back-to-backs, and you don't want to be losing a back-to-back against a team that, is probably not going to be even a play-in team. So that was the disappointing part to me. And then, sorry, I know I'm rambling here, but as it relates to the gambling thing, look, if you're a degenerate, look, I just do underdog. I don't do anything like I do whatever, quote unquote, legal by the state of California. But, if I want to turn my two-player parlay into a three-player parlay, and I'm going to bet that Smiley Geach is going to have more than, one rebound, that's on me, man. And if the brother decides like, hey, I'm in with, I owe some people money and I'm not going to try to rebound, who cares, man? Who cares? That's on me. Sports gambling is a risk, and quite honestly, like, we got 450 players. If you happen to bet on the one player as part of your parlay that happens to be doing something crooked, who cares? I don't feel like I'm being cheated, and the integrity of the sport is being questioned. Now, obviously, if a coach is doing things, there's a lot more impact. But one player like a Damian Joe, man, I don't care. If he was like part 5 of my 6-part parlay, I don't care. That's just a risk you take playing on sports. So I don't know what the big deal is. And Chauncey Billups, dude, that dude, look, I've never extorted someone. I'm more likely to be extorted than to tend to extort. But if that dude is sitting in as what do they call them, the face card, right, of these high-stake illegal poker games?
Yeah. Yeah, hey, Bobby, sorry about that, but a lot to dig into off of that call, but we got to hit a break here. I see also Austin and San Jose and Troy and Santa Cruz. We're going to get to your calls on the other side. A lot more coming halfway home here on Warriors this week, and a couple things that I would like to react to from that call as well. So thank you, Bobby, for offering your thoughts. Warriors 2-1 to begin the season. Evan Giddings, Dan Devone. We'll step aside here on 95.7 The Game. Be back after this.
Butcher Boy here from my friends at Ceremony Ford, where they're bringing serious heat this month with deals that'll blow your mind. Right now, you can lease a brand new 2025 Mustang Mach-E Premium with extended range for just $299 a month. Yes, you heard me. An all-electric Mustang with power, style, and range for under $300 a month. That's not a typo. That's a steal. And if you're not feeling electric just yet, well, then no worries. Ceremony Ford's got hundreds of new and pre-owned Fords in stock and ready to roll home today. From F-150s and Broncos to Escapes and Explorers, they've got every model you could want, and the team makes it easy. No games, no nonsense, just good people who know how to take care of the Bay Area drivers, just like they did for me. You'll find them right off at 280 on Ceremony Boulevard, or check out the full lineup 24/7 at ceremonyford.com. Ceremony Ford, your Bay Area Ford store.
Change is always happening. It's part of life. And when it comes to music, change is all around us. Songs are rewritten. Classics are remixed. Bands and artists come and go. Even our taste in music changes. Here at Xfinity, we know there's still good in keeping some things the same. That's why we want to do our part with a 5-year price guarantee on our internet. It means no matter what changes, you get 5 years of the most reliable Wi-Fi with our best equipment included for a price that stays exactly the same. Surprised? Life is full of them. One internet price, 5 years, guaranteed. Learn more at xfinity.com/deals. Restrictions apply. New residential customers only. Taxes and fees extra and subject to change. Most reliable Wi-Fi based on Open Signal Awards USA. Fixed Broadband Experience Report, August 2024.
When you own your own business, you own every decision.
Catch the red eye or take the 6 a.m.
Make a new hire or promote internally.
Celebrate a win with the toast at the gate or unwind at the lounge. Big props to this team.
Some decisions are a win-win. Like earning 8 times points on Chase Travel. Introducing Chase Sapphire Reserve for Business. With $2,500 in annual value, it's the business card that gives back all you put in. Visit chase.com/reserve business to learn more. Cards issued by JPMorgan Chase Bank, N.A. member FDIC, subject to credit approval. Terms apply.
Prescription products require completion of an online medication consultation with an independent healthcare provider through the LifeMD platform and are only available if prescribed. Subscription required. Individual results may vary. Additional restrictions apply at lifemd.com. Read all warnings before using GLP-1s. Side effects may include a risk of thyroid C-cell tumors. Do not use GLP-1s if you or your family have a history of thyroid cancer.
Confused on where to start with weight loss medication? 95% of LifeMD patients said starting their weight loss journey was simple. Go to trylifemd.com now and see the best options with or without insurance for Wegovy, Zepbound, and more. Brian was approved for insurance coverage and lost 100 pounds.
I love the fact that insurance covered almost everything because pharmaceutical prices are going through the roof. The first time I realized that LifeMD was working for me was when the hunger started going away. I never thought losing weight would be this easy. It's given me more energy. I would recommend LifeMD to anybody.
Nearly 96% of patients said they would recommend the LifeMD program to anyone who wants to lose weight. Get started right now at trylifemd.com. That's TRYLIFEMD.com.
In sports, success is about team effort, and the same is true for your hair. At Great Clips, we save your haircut details in clip notes, so every member of the highly skilled team knows exactly how to create your signature look. And with our easy-to-use app, you can check in from anywhere and get a ready next text when you're up next for a cut. It's the confidence of a great haircut delivered by a team you trust. Download our app today. Great Clips. It's gonna be great.
From 20th Century Studios, discover why critics are calling Springsteen Deliver Me From Nowhere an intelligent journey into the soul of an artist. Enter at Odyssey.com Big 98.1 for your chance to win $100 and movie passes for a night out to see Springsteen Deliver Me From Nowhere. Now playing only in theaters.
Are you interested in being an install or service technician? Good news! R&S Doors and Gates is hiring. If you have good mechanical skills and a knowledge of power tools, welding, and motor controls, you should apply today. R&S Doors has openings to repair and install commercial overhead doors, entry doors, and loading dock equipment. You must be able to work in a professional, fast-paced environment. Call 800-FIX-A-DOOR and apply today. That's 800-FIX-A-DOOR or visit rsdoors.com. R&S Doors. Look for the red truck.
This is the story of the one. As a custodial supervisor at a high school, he knows that during cold and flu season, germs spread fast. It's why he partners with Grainger to stay fully stocked on the products and supplies he needs, from tissues to disinfectants to floor scrubbers. All so that he can help students, staff, and teachers stay healthy and focused. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Oh, no.
Ah, that's the sound of someone who's misplaced
My debit card.
their debit card.
Where'd I leave that thing?
Not at the gas pump, or the checkout counter, or the roof of your car. Now, if he has the Chase mobile app, he can use Card Lock.
Wait, I could just lock my card.
Yep, just a few tippy taps on his phone, and that sound, that's peace of mind from Chase.
Chase mobile app is available for select mobile devices. Message and data rates may apply. JPMorgan Chase Bank N.A. member FDIC.
This is Greg Nemitz from the Autism Society. The Pettinelli Financial Golf Tournament raised over $100,000 for our organization. Thank you, sponsors, players, volunteers, and thank you, Pettinelli Financial.
Kaminga. Bounce past Pajemski. He lost the ball on the way up. Holiday knocked it away. Another turnover on Golden State. Abdul with a dunk. And this game, again, is kind of out of control. Warriors had a chance if they could have started fast, but now they're down by 18.
Now back to Warriors This Week on 95.7 The Game.
All right, Evan Giddings, Dan Devone, and a big thank you to Pasta Bennett Roth.
Who's that?
Bennett Roth. He's in the YouTube chat right now. Submitted me some beds, and this is one apparently he made.
I like this. It's kind of funky. I don't know if it's quite your speed, Dan.
What the hell are you guys talking about?
I'm talking about the music that's playing right now.
Oh.
I don't know if they can hear it on YouTube, but Bennett Roth submitted a couple
This
beds
is
to
awesome.
Pasta.
This is solid.
He's in the YouTube chat right now.
Yeah, I like that. Shout out Bennett.
I like
Appreciate
this.
you, man.
It's a good vibe.
So, on the heels of our last segment, and big shout out to Bobby Los Altos, put a lot on the table for us.
I think Bobby's still talking somewhere.
Man, that guy can go. Love you, Bob. All right, so I do disagree with the fact, we're talking a little bit about the whole gambling issue right now at the NBA on the heels of Billups and Rozier getting arrested on Thursday by the FBI. I do disagree with the fact that it's all on the gambler, because if you're fixing particular props or situations, whether it's as a coach or a player, you were stealing money, and that can't be something the league is associated with. But I did agree with Bobby on his point about pods, which is if you're unhappy, and I'm summarizing here, if you're unhappy with Kerr for giving him minutes, you got to look around and see some other guys that are going to push him. Which, by the way, I said this earlier, and I believe this. This is the first year where I think that's a possibility. Whereas for the last couple seasons, there just was nobody to take those minutes. But now there is a Will Richard. There will be a DeAnthony Melton. There is a potential for a Moody or maybe even a Kaminga if the Warriors want to play larger, for Pajemski to not just be guaranteed the 30 that everyone thinks that he's been given on a silver platter.
Yeah, I think a lot of it is just the fact that he's clearly been Steve Kerr's teacher's pet, right? And I get it. I mean, if I'm Moses Moody and Jonathan Kaminga, this is going back over the last couple of years. Why is Pajemski jump on the line? Why does he get all this run? And, and Bobby was right. He's a smart player that's understands where the ball's got to go, balances the floor, takes those charges. He's a good defender. And it's about winning basketball plays. But there comes a point, and there's a ceiling to all of this, that you got to score the damn ball. And you've got to be able to play a lot better than he has at the start of the season, for sure.
Yeah, no doubt. All right, 888-957-9570 is the number. Giddings and Devone with you here on Warriors This Week. Let's get out to San Jose. Talk to our guy, Austin. Austin, good to hear from you, man. What's going on? Good morning.
Hey, fellas. Great. We get back to the NBA, Dan. Good to talk to you again, Evan, as always. Listen, man, Bobby, he was amazing. I disagree with him on a lot of things, but, it's kind of like the consumer's always responsible, right? It doesn't matter whether they're being tricked into something or not. It's their responsibility to sort of be buyers beware. So I challenge that a little bit. And just talking about the NBA and scandal, I go back long enough to remember a lot of scandals. The Donaghy referee scandal that wasn't too long ago, actually. And people should go back and watch the documentary, actually, because I can maybe give you some context around what's happening today. So this isn't new. Some of the things I remember, he said that the sport was at 70% entertainment, 30% sport. So you can think about that for a minute. The other part of it is, I think, where we need to be. I don't think this. I think it's tip of the iceberg. I hope I'm wrong, but I got a feeling there's more coming out of this than maybe we're going to want to know. But I don't believe that Chauncey Billups and Rozier are the only ones doing these type of things. I think we'd be naive to think that. So I would worry more about what comes next. So I just think that the whole thing would what we need to be worried is, what are we watching? We go to WWE. That's a manufactured outcome. We kind of know what's expected. People pay and know it's contrived. I think we have to ask ourselves, though, where it starts to get a little bit worrisome for the NBA. And we're not saying every game, but to the extent that the referees are, and Donaghy said he was influenced by the NBA office to call fouls a certain way, a certain night, depending on the contest, right? And now we have players that are capable of affecting an outcome either by not playing or this load management thing, guys. How is this coming into the equation? Who's to determine whether a guy is actually load managing or if he's really hurt or not? And these are all part of the gambling scenario because the league signed major billion-dollar agreements with these gambling organizations. So there's a lot of layers to this. And I would if I was an NBA official or an executive, I would worry about the public and saying, so what am I watching on a given night? It doesn't mean that every game is affected, but it doesn't have to be every game. And Bobby is going to, it's 300, 400 things. And it doesn't matter if a couple players. No, it matters because if one game is affected, then the sport is tainted, and then we don't know what we're watching. So that's kind of where I'm at, guys. And last thing on the Warriors, 3 games in, it's going to be up and down. I think that Will Richards is a major find right now. I think the minutes will be decided. I think guys like Pods and stuff will still be part of the equation, but they won't be seeing the time. He's going to play himself off the court if he keeps doing what some of the things he's doing. But I don't want to pick on Pods. It's just about the young players stepping up or not stepping up. So I'd be curious to hear your comments, guys, about the whole gambling things. I think that it would be wrong for us to kind of dismiss this as something that's just going to go away. I don't think it's going to go away, guys. I'd be curious to see what you guys think. Thanks a lot.
Thanks, Austin. I mean, I don't know about you, Dan. I think one of the reasons it won't go away is because they're trying to make it go away. Like, that's the reason why we're in this position in the first place. The FBI had to step in because the NBA's investigation into its own league produced nothing. And so you brought the big boys in. And at this point now, you unlock Pandora's box into a whole world of potential rigging and illegal poker games. But the bigger issue is what someone like Terry Rozier and Chauncey Billups, or co-conspirator 8, were doing.
And it's only going to get worse before it gets better because there's going to be more names that are going to be released. We're just at the tip of the iceberg. One thing that I do want to point out as it relates to injuries, because I think one of the things that were mentioned, I believe you read the report, and one of the things that I believe Damon Jones was talking about, or at least allegedly was referring to, LeBron James wasn't going to play in a certain basketball game, was hurt. The one thing about injuries as it relates, and you correct me if I'm wrong again, because you're much closer to the Warriors than I. So if you were to go to a closed practice, let's say the Warriors have a game tonight at 7, they got a closed practice at about noon today. You would go to that closed practice and there would be players, there would be certain members of the media, a few people, hanging around, but it's closed to obviously the unwashed masses. And you would know right there whether Draymond Green, who is dealing with an injury, was playing or not.
Yeah.
And Draymond Green would be sitting on the side and everybody would know, including Steve Kerr, that he's not playing. However, the NBA isn't obligated to release that information till at least about an hour before tip, if not sooner or later, depending on how you look at it. And so there's a long time in between 12 this afternoon and tip-off tonight where that sort of information, albeit just privy to players and certain media members, can be dispersed in nefarious ways towards, affecting a line and or people wagering on whether or not the Warriors are going to, whatever the prop bet might be, or whatever the line might be that wagers are trying to profit from. So I think that's something that needs to be addressed going forward.
No, like I have public access right now. I'm looking at the NBA injury report, and you have to submit one. I think it's, well, that's not really a drop, but
don't even mind those, man. I give up on those. The most random drops.
You are required to report one every hour, but I don't think you have to have your available roster, and I think it's until an hour and a half before tip. So, and there could be a late scratch. But to your point, if at shoot around today, if the Warriors were hypothetically playing, and there was an assistant coach that was made aware that an individual is not going to play, that person cannot go tell then someone else, hey, I'm going to just be honest, Jimmy ain't playing tonight, or Steph ain't playing tonight. I would kind of get in before that line moves because it's going to move. Like that stuff is a little buyer beware, but the bigger issue is when a player can literally maneuver a prop based on how much they're playing. If a player says, all right, my over-under on minutes is, 14 and a half. I'm going down with an ankle in the second quarter. like that is literally theft, because there is no chance involved in that. You have control over it. And I think that's where the NBA, it's like, all right, are they trying to figure out how much intent is involved in this? It was made clear that someone like Terry Rozier asked out of the game because he knew that there was hundreds of thousands of dollars in on him to not play in that game, or not play a lot. And so that's where I know that there's some gray space, but the NBA just cannot be associated with these kinds of acts. And we talked about it a lot today. I also do want to get to Austin's point about Richard and and kind of Podziemski, and where the younger guys are with the Warriors too, Dan. I thought, like, for example, last night, and I know you mentioned, you don't want Richard or players sort of playing out of their role, but on a night like last night where Horford is out, we're talking about players that publicly are not going to play. Horford is out. It changes the hierarchy immediately, because those are 25 available minutes. And they're 25 available minutes at a very important position in which they don't have a ton of depth. So what are you going to do? You got to play smaller. And I think that those are games where I will like to see Kerr in the future. There's 14 more of them. Just kind of lean more into some of their younger dudes. I know it's going to look like a lot of smaller lineups. I know it's going to look like, maybe against bigger teams, they don't have as much of an advantage. But to me, Dan, those are the kinds of games where I would like to see the young guys sort of take the reins.
Well, there's young guys, and then there's Will Richard. Like, Podziemski's a young guy. Trace Jackson-Davis is a young guy. Quentin Post is a young guy. But when you're a rookie who is going through the league for the first time, I would put him sort of in a separate category. I would still keep a tight leash on him. I don't want him to develop bad habits. I don't want to mess with his confidence. And so, yeah, you want to rely on the young guys. I would agree with you there, but I would be a little bit more careful in monitoring his minutes, because, again, I think he's better off when he has, at least for right now, which we're talking not even 4 games into his NBA career, that he has a real defined role and continues to play well and build upon that confidence going forward, so that we get to a point, maybe it's at the latter part of the season, where you can become more reliant on him to play bigger minutes.
What have you made of Kaminga's role through 3 games? I know he's played 31 minutes. He's been very efficient, 55, 50, 75 at the free throw line. He's right now their leading rebounder as it stands through 3 games.
How about that?
Which is,
he ought to just hang it up right now.
I know. 4 assists a game and nearly 16 per. Like, I've been pleasantly surprised. I don't think that anybody can be unhappy with what he's done so far. And the one thing that I guess it does feel weird talking about it, because I don't feel like we've seen this before. And there's been some fundamental change that he has made. And I don't know if it had to do with the negotiation, his place with the team moving forward, the saga that was this summer in Kaminga. But if this is the player that he is going to be this season, like, that's someone that I can look at and legitimately believe is going to help them win games. And he already has. But to say that this was the guy that we saw the last 4 years, Dan, to me is going a little out on a limb. Like, I don't think we've seen him do all of these things. Defend, rebound, move the ball, and be able to score at an efficient clip. He's done a few of those things at different times, but never all at once.
Yeah, I don't know if it's the Jimmy Butler factor. I don't know if it was the contract negotiations over the offseason, or I don't know if it's the fact that he's just now 23 years of age and we all grow up, and at some point, and we've been waiting for this for so long, the light just goes on. But he's clearly a different player. I don't know what it's attributed to, but you're right. You can see it where he's not forcing the action. He's letting the game come to him. That Laker game where he was giving it up, he hit Steph Curry on a pass on a break where Curry hit a 3, and it was just like, really? Like, this is who Steve Kerr wants him to be. Like, if he can be, again, this guy where it's just the game is organically happening and he's not, he's not in a 50-mile-an-hour zone driving 125 and charging into three guys. Like, all of this is just in hitting his threes. A lot of it's confidence, I think. But it could be just one of those where it's taken him a little bit longer than maybe, say, the average player. Now, 5 years into his career, for him to sort of understand what it is that Steve Kerr has been trying to pound into his head. Now, again, because we've been teased before, we need to see a little bit more of this, right? It can't just be a snapshot. Let's see a month of this. Let's see a couple of months of this before we're ready to make that sort of indictment that he's fully become a different basketball player.
And James Wilson is pushing back in our chat saying that he just needs minutes. He's always done this. And I'm sorry, I have to disagree. He's done some of these things. Some nights he has scored efficiently. Some nights he has rebounded well. Some nights he has defended. But in 3 games, and you can kind of throw away Portland because although he was the second best player in that game, he hasn't done them all at the same time. Like, I'm sorry. I have not seen this level of commitment to defense, to rebounding, to moving the ball, to doing all the things that it feels like fans, along with perhaps the coaching staff, was pleading for him to do. I have not seen him do it at that level with the consistency that he has so far, again, through 3 games, through his first 4 years. And you know what? If that's what it took to get to this point, that's fine. He's 23 years old. He's still very young, and it looks like he's going to be a contributing member to a season that has aspirations to go far in the postseason. I don't know if they'll end up using him as a trade chip, Dan. I don't know if he wants to be here after this season, but the more he plays like he did against the Lakers and against Denver, too, where he's picking up big bodies, he's skying in for rebounds, making plays on loose balls, running the floor, and using the athleticism and the talent, really, that everyone knew was always there every single possession. Like, that to me is a completely different player than the one that we've been talking about. And he's shown flashes of it, and I just want to see him continue to do it, too, because I know he can score, and now it feels like I know that he's looking to make the right play consistently. And that's going to help the Warriors on nights like last night, even though they lost, and especially in games where they're playing against contenders like a team like Denver.
Well, maybe to sort of defend I didn't see what it is that he said on the text line, but what are we calling guys who text in? The texter?
Well, no, he was just saying JK has always done this. He just doesn't play enough to show it.
Well,
which I think is kind of the consensus pushback.
I don't know that that's necessarily true, although I would say that he is a different player when he starts. Or when Steve Kerr gives him the vote of confidence. What are the best games he's ever had are always when Steph is out, Draymond is out, either through load management or they can't play. I mean, you can go look it up. I think his career highs are in games. Now, obviously, he's relied upon to score the basketball, but there's sort of a comfort and there's sort of a different mentality and mental makeup to his approach, I think, to games when he doesn't have to defer to Steph or doesn't have to look over his shoulder at whether or not he's going to get pulled by Steve Kerr or whether he did the right thing according to Draymond Green. When those guys aren't on the floor, he seems to play his best basketball. Now that he's been given this vote of confidence and that he's a starter, I don't think he's necessarily looking over his shoulder saying, am I going to get yanked now? Because we have seen him yo-yoed back and forth. And I think there is sort of a cause and effect with Steve Kerr giving him the leash and saying, okay, you're going to play and you're going to get your minutes. And so don't worry about me and do your thing. And while I agree with you that we haven't seen, this version of Jonathan Kaminga, but I wouldn't dismiss the fact that Steve Kerr has something to do with it in terms of the confidence that's been bestowed on Jonathan Kaminga in terms of his minutes.
Well, clearly there's been conversations about what they envision as his role this season. And I think that's maybe to go further, what I've seen through 3 games is Kaminga has played well in the past when he's been the guy, when he's been the primary option. Mm-hmm. I don't think I've seen him contribute like this when he's forced to be the 3rd or some nights 4th option. Now, he's been their 3rd best player through 3 games. I think he's been better than Draymond consistently through 3. But when Steph and Jimmy have been out there, The last 30 games of the season, he struggled to figure out where he fit in. And it's because it felt like he needed the ball. It felt like he was trying to force some things. And the game just looks like it's come to him through the first 2 wins, I think, more than I've seen it when those guys are out there, the guys who demand the ball and demand the attention. He's using the gravity of Curry. He's making cuts. He's making proper passes and right reads. And he's doing it as the third option. I think he's always needed to be the first, or it's been just a struggle for him to quite frankly figure out where he fits. And so I think that's what's been encouraging for me. It's he's kind of found, I would say, where like Andrew Wiggins had to find when he came to Golden State, where he was the man in Minnesota. You know, he was originally, when he got here in 2021, he was that second option. And then in the 2022 season, he was the tertiary piece, but he figured out exactly what he needed to do to help the team win. And at least the early returns to me through, the first 3 games is it looks like that's kind of what that's the leap that I think he's beginning to make.
What's tertiary mean?
Just third. Oh, wow. Primary, secondary, tertiary. But let's go to
You're a smart guy, bro.
You're the one who used the word discombobulated earlier. There's more syllables than that.
I reach down once in a while, but for you, it just flows, man.
Every once in a while. All right, let's go to Tim in North Carolina, friend of the program. Timmy, good afternoon, man. What's going on? How are you?
I'm good, fellas. I'm good. I've kind of refrained from calling since this kid has been playing well, simply because of I just haven't wanted to call. But it's kind of borderline insulting that all of a sudden a dumb kid got smart type of thing. This goes back to his second year on this team when he filled in for Wiggins, and he was a third or fourth option, and these guys were winning games. Even when he's always done this when he's averaged 30 minutes a game. This team has a winning record when this guy's got 30 minutes a game, and he's averaged 20 points, 6 rebounds, 3 assists. Like, it's just borderline insulting, man. Devon just said it. The only difference is a guy has been empowered. He's been embraced by his older vets and said, man, just go do you. Have you heard what Jimmy has been saying, what he's been telling him? Hey, man, be yourself. Go play basketball. That's all this is. I mean, this is just like, guys, why are we acting like the wheel has been reinvented? Like, look at the kid's stats whenever he's averaged 30 minutes a game. And no, it hasn't always been when Steph and Dre have been out. His second year in the league, when he filled in for that long period of time Wiggins was out, those guys were here. The third year, when he filled in, when Dre got hurt, those guys were on the court. The only difference is peace of mind. Peace of mind that I can just play. And I can be the best version of myself that I can be, and my coach believes in me. So I think all of this reinventing the wheel, I've said it before, and I'll let y'all check on it because you guys are stat guys, right? Kaminga is one of 8 players in his draft class, one of 8 that has 3,000 points and 1,000 rebounds. Guys, he's played the 18th most minutes in that draft class, but he's one of 8. And go look at the other 7. All of those guys got $200 million contracts. So you wonder why this guy's mind is kind of all over the place. And now he just has peace of mind, fellas. Like, we don't have to reinvent this. It's not a dumb kid that got smart in 2 months over the summer. I mean, come on, it's insulting, man. The kid is just playing basketball. He's done it before on this team. And why are we acting like we didn't see 3 years ago?
Oh, sorry, Tim. Possibly. We got to hit a break here. Oh, sorry about that. Tim, I appreciate the call, and it's good to hear from you, but we got to hit a break here on Warriors this week. We'll continue on the other side. 888-957-9570 is the number. Getting to Devon back after this.
So, how's your research going?
Surprising. After I figured out the top-rated TVs in our price range, I went shopping for deals.
And who's the best?
It wasn't the internet, and it wasn't the warehouse club.
But?
It was video only. They had better deals on the Samsung, LG, and the Sony TVs that got the highest scores.
Better than online and at the club?
I know! Video only beat them all. And now we can afford an even better model for the same price. My research really paid off.
If we buy it video only.
Exactly. Otherwise, we'll be sorry.
At Video Only, you won't find huge stores with refrigerators or microwaves, but you will find the best deals on top-rated TVs, soundbars, and monitors. Shop around. Just make sure you visit Video Only, because if you don't,
you'll be sorry.
In Mountain View, San Mateo, Union City, Dublin, and San Rafael. Video Only.
Comcast Business can help turn your small business into a connected, secure, modern business. It's how restaurants become reliably up and running neighborhood favorites. How healthcare offices become the data-protecting caregivers that we all depend on. And how wealth management firms become cyber-securing guardians of your information. With reliable connectivity, enhanced cybersecurity, and Wi-Fi backup, your business can stay connected and get threat-ready with Comcast Business. Powering possibilities.
Now through November 16th. New Comcast Business customers can get started with 150 megabit internet plus security for $59.99 a month for 12 months with a 2-year agreement. Plus, ask how to get a $500 prepaid card on a qualifying gig package. Call today. Restrictions apply. Requires enrollment in paperless billing and auto pay with bank account. Early termination fee applies. Equipment, taxes, and fees extra.
Dubs fans, it's time to score big at Cordelia RV Center. Every new 2025 RV must go before year's end with deals you won't see again. Don't wait. Hit the road in style and save thousands. Located at 680 and I-80 in Fairfield or online at CordeliaRV.com.
20th Century Studios presents Springsteen. Witness a true story of risking it all.
These new songs, they're the only thing making sense to me right now.
To fight for what you believe in.
This is not gonna be good for Bruce. I don't need to be perfect. I just want it to feel right.
Springsteen, rated PG-13. Parental guidance suggested for children under 13. Now playing only in theaters.
1877 Cars for Kids. KARS Cars for Kids. 1877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today. 1877 Cars for Kids. KARS Cars for Kids. 1877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Ready to get rid of that old car? Donate it to Cars for Kids. Call 1-877-CARS-FOR-KIDS to reach a friendly live agent. Donation is super easy, and your car can be picked up as soon as tomorrow. Call us now, 877-CARS-FOR-KIDS. That's cars with a K to donate your car today.
1877 Cars for Kids. KARS Cars for Kids. 1877 Cars for Kids. Donate your...
Did you know you can donate real estate too? Go to carsforkids.org. That's carsforkids.org.
Attention. Have you racked up $10,000 or more in credit card debt? Are you barely getting by making minimum payments? With credit card debt reaching all-time highs, National Debt Relief is notifying consumers about significant debt relief options currently being made available to help those with overwhelming credit card debt. These options may reduce a large portion of credit card debt for those who qualify. You don't need to declare bankruptcy or take out a consolidation loan, and you may only have to pay back a fraction of what you owe, even if you have bad credit. National Debt Relief has already reduced the credit card debt for more than 550,000 consumers, so don't wait. If you owe $10,000, $20,000, or even $100,000 in credit card debt, you can now take advantage of this financial debt relief as the cost of living continues to skyrocket. To check what debt reduction you may qualify for, call 800-207-4545. That's 800-207-4545. Once again, that's 800-207-4545.
America's favorite car show makes its final Bay Area pit stop of the 2025 season at the Alameda County Fairgrounds. It's the Good Guys 35th Fuel Curve Autumn Get-Together, November 8th and 9th. For a chance to win tickets courtesy of Good Guys, visit 957thegame.com.
This is the story of the one. As a maintenance supervisor at a manufacturing facility, he knows keeping the line up and running is a top priority. That's why he chooses Grainger. Because when a drive belt gets damaged, Grainger makes it easy to find the exact specs for the replacement product he needs. And next day delivery helps ensure he'll have everything in place and running like clockwork. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
My ride smells just right, just right, just right, just right.
I gotta try that Febreze car.
Just right, just right, just right. La 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 la. With up to 40 days of consistency. All over Febreze car clips right on your vent. You know my car's my happy place. Keep that smile on my face. When it smells just right, just right, just right. Breathe happy Febreze. La 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 la.
You're listening to 95.7 The Game, KGMZ FM in HD1 San Francisco on Odyssey Sports Station. Always live on the free Odyssey app, Twitch, and YouTube. Powered by First NorCal Credit Union.
Santos with the ball on the near side. Wheels to the paint, finds Richard. It's a three, topside, good. Man, the net hardly moved on that one. Will Richard is a player to keep an eye on for Golden State this year.
Now back to Warriors This Week on 95.7 The Game.
Yeah, the Richard fan base is growing. You heard Tim Roy. Dan got a lot of people on his side. The Florida Gator. Also went to Belmont.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah, the OVC. Yeah, he's been around the block. 4 years of college. Classic Kerr player.
You know who's a classic Kerr player all along? Al Horford.
Oh, yeah.
Al Horford in a Warrior uniform. You know, sometimes you see a guy in a different uniform, it takes a little while. It looks as though he has been with the Warriors the whole time. Like the way he plays, it's like, you talk about a perfect fit. It's just like, it's almost as if he, Draymond, Steph, and Clay all came up together. It's like he just understands the nuance of the offense.
They kind of did.
Yeah. Well, I mean, on the same team.
Yeah.
It's just like he understands the way. It's not taking him any time to pick up the nuances of the Warriors' offense.
Well, I think that's why too. It's interesting because that's something they've never had before. They have not had a center who could really stretch the floor. I don't know. I mean, probably you got to go back to like DeMarcus Cousins, Mo Spates. They haven't had a real like big man who can step out and knock down threes. But neither of those two players, I think, at those stages in their careers, sort of fit the way that Horford did. Cousins was a part of a great team, but because of injury and whatnot, wasn't at his peak. Horford and I think against the Lakers, and again, we're going to see this a lot too, like inconsistency. I thought he was fine against the Lakers. I thought he was really good against Denver, and was a big reason they won that game in overtime. He had like a spike in the second quarter, a dunk. Someone was going in for a layup, on Denver, and he just got up in the air. I was like, I didn't know Al Horford could get that high, and he just turned back the clock, man.
Want to hear from your guy again? You cut him off last time.
I didn't cut him off. Tim in North Carolina, I apologize. The floor is yours, man. Sorry, we had to hit a commercial break there. What do you got?
It's all good, man. I appreciate it. I just wanted to finish with just a couple things. The only thing was, Evan, on the last point that you said about when he came back after injury, I think we just got to remember the kid came back after his worst injury of his career, whole new team, tried to adjust to a whole new team on the fly, 18 games, some good, some bad, and then all hell broke loose when the playoffs got here. And it was just like everybody forgot about anything he had ever done before that, And so I'll just finish with this. I was looking at this Steph Curry thing this morning on YouTube. It was going back to his draft process, and it was cool because it was showing Dale Curry, and they were trying to manipulate and get him to the Knicks. And Curry himself at that time in college, Davidson, he had an interview, and he said, I really want to go somewhere where I get a chance to flourish and have a chance to play. He said, or else I'll just get drafted somewhere and get sucked up into the system and forgotten about. And think about how deep that is. Kaminga didn't have people that try and manipulate where he got drafted so he could go and play and flourish. And he had to be picked here where he was picked here and put in a unique situation. So I guess that's why I sometimes call and try and speak on the young man's behalf. It's not because I'm unrealistic. I just sometimes wish people just paid attention to really what has happened. You know what I mean? I think we just get too deep in it when it's not that deep. I think Devon hit it right on the head. Young man being empowered and believed in by the coach, not looking over the shoulder. All right, show me what you got. and I think we're trying to make it rocket science when it's not really rocket science. So I appreciate y'all letting me get back on, man. I know y'all don't have to do that, man. So y'all take care, fellas.
Thanks, Tim. Don't be a stranger. Yeah, I mean, I think, look, for me, I think there's clearly been, again, a fundamental shift in Kaminga's game. And I think it's because when Jimmy Butler got here, the way the Warriors played basketball changed. And it was not to help Kaminga. It was to help Curry. And he had to figure out, after playing, like Tim said, good basketball prior to his injury, he had to figure out how to fit in again. You know, I think as early as, the second possession last night, he gets the ball cutting across the lane and immediately whips it behind him into the corner to Draymond for an open three. He's making those kinds of heads-up plays consistently now, where he's looking for others. I think he's looking to make the right play. He's skying in for rebounds. He had the big offensive rebound in the win against the Lakers, in which, again, those kinds of selfless plays I did not see over the last 4 years consistently enough to believe that he could just step in with a Jimmy Butler and help that team win big games. And I get a different feeling from watching Kaminga this year than I have, which is also a credit to him. It's a credit to him. It's a credit to Steve Kerr for finally, hopefully, giving him some rope to learn and to impact winning basketball. But to me, it's like, what I don't want to do is spend every single weekend talking about what happened, what's going to happen, and how this kid has just been done wrong for 4 years.
Oh, you will.
Well, you will.
It's just the nature of this beast when it comes to Kaminga in this market. Hey, are you ready for, because we haven't done this in a while, well, since the last show I did with you.
It was 7 months ago.
Are you ready for my sort of, which I know you're gonna giggle, sort of an outlandish take, but I don't think, I like it. I think last year I did it sort of tongue in cheek and you gave me grief, but I think that is becoming, I think people have to sort of take this a little bit more seriously these days.
Okay.
The San Antonio Spurs.
Yeah,
like that.
There's a big problem. Oh, sorry, continue.
No, that's it.
Oh, it's
we can get into Wembanyama. I do want to talk about this guy because I look at, we've never seen anything like him, and this is getting a little scary. Like I'm not comfortable saying that team won't win the Western Conference this year. I mean that. Like I wouldn't even say they're not going to the playoffs. I know it's easy to look at the roster. I don't feel comfortable betting against somebody that I have never seen do what it is that he's doing in the history of the sport.
There's also something that I saw last night that he did, which I don't think makes sense to me.
Well, that's the takeaway from a lot of people these days.
No. It has to do with his stat line. I don't think I've ever seen this, Dan. I'm dead serious. So last night they played against New Orleans. By the way, watching him and Zion go back and forth.
Zion!
Kind of skinny.
Hey!
He got on the Luka Doncic intermittent fasting train,
right?
At least for now. Victor Wembanyama last night, and they won an OT, 120-116. He had 29 points, 11 rebounds, 9 blocks, and was a minus 12. Make that make sense.
That just tells you the plus minuses.
Well, no, I'm just saying, like, I was watching the game, and, you know, I guess, you know, not really, like, when I watch Warriors games, I kind of pay attention, all right, who's coming in at what time, who are the rotations, the minus. When I watch a lot of NBA games, I just kind of just let the game breathe, and I want to enjoy it. I couldn't believe that he was a minus 12. I was like, he was a lot better than I thought. He blocked Zion Williamson 3 times on one possession. I mean, and Zion's a big boy, a little wide load than tall, but he made him look just like a toddler.
You talked about his stat line. Let me just go out on the limb and just tell you that he will be the next NBA player to have a quadruple double. And it's only happened, wait, I'll bring it up.
I think twice.
No, more than that. It's
Hakeem Olajuwon.
Hakeem Olajuwon. David Robinson. Oh, okay. Go for it.
Yeah,
well, it's more than 2, so go ahead.
Okay, then the other one was
David. So Hakeem Olajuwon, David Robinson.
Is it Alvin Robertson?
Very good with the Milwaukee Bucks.
Yes.
Wow. If you get this last one, I seriously, new respect
Tim Duncan?
No, it's a center.
Well, like Bob Pettit?
Not that far back, but pretty far back, and it's a Warrior.
And it's a Warrior. Nate Thurman.
Yes. That's pretty good. Jesus.
Well, see, okay, but I thought it was only 2. But no, you're right. That's right. I do remember reading about Nate Thurman's quadruple double. And apparently, oh my God, there was a story written. So apparently, Clyde Drexler had a quadruple double, but then they realized like one stat was off, or they gave it to him like. I'm gonna have to go back and read the story, but Clyde Drexler nearly had a quadruple double, or did, and then they stripped him of one of his rebounds because it was falsely attributed to him. But he's the other guy that I think is in the realm of quad doubles. But you're right. If there's a player in the NBA right now in 2025 that's going to rack one up, it's going to be Wemby. And, he might be a guy too, Dan, that we see. I think Draymond's done this. A triple-double without points. He's probably going to score 10 every game. But Wemby's the kind of guy. Draymond, I think, did it with rebounds, assists, and steals. But Wembanyama could easily do it with rebounds, assists, and blocks.
Well, that's just it. I'm looking up to see whether anybody has done it with blocks. And there could, so Thurman had 12 blocks.
That's unreal. 12 blocks?
Yeah.
You think at some point it would just be like, I don't think we're going to go inside anymore.
I think that, I'm telling you, this Wembanyama guy, and now I look into his face, and like the baby fat is gone. He's turning into a man. It's like he's still a kid, but it's like, like this guy is like, who do you compare him to? When have we ever seen anything? I guess maybe when Shaq first came on board, we were kind of like, I've never seen this before.
He's the closest thing I've seen him, and they're different, but it's like it's kind of like Durant. I mean, it's less of a perimeter player.
Durant didn't potentially change the sport and do some, well, I guess a 7-footer shooting the way he did, but
well, I'd never seen anything like him. But you're right. Wembanyama does it on both ends. I mean, he's as physically dominant. You could make a case as a young Shaq, but what he does defensively is he alters everything.
Everybody.
Like he is what? Well, I'll go on a limb and make this statement. Wembanyama defensively, from what I've seen, reminds me a lot of what Curry was offensively early in his career, where people just did not know what to do on that end of the floor because he was taking shots from places where nobody had. And Wembanyama can contest shots in a way that I don't know if I've seen anybody else do it.
Yeah, and it's against guys who are so unaccustomed to having their shots blocked, or do you have to worry about it? I saw him match up against Anthony Davis. I've never seen AD play like that, playing fearful. The minute he got in the paint, he's just like, where is that dude? And getting his shot blocked. It's weird. And I don't know, Ev, I'm just saying that with Vassell, I know there's some young boys. You got Fox.
Well, he's not even back yet.
And they're still, I know, but you still got, you still, the surrounding pieces are better than they were a year ago and better than they were 2 years ago. But watch out. Like if that's a surprise team and it's just all about Wembanyama, I would not be surprised, man. Like if that's a team that, like I'm not comfortable saying they're not going to win it all. Like I just would never do that.
Well, I think it'd be tough to win it all considering he's never been to the postseason before.
Careful. Just
saying, it's tough for me to believe that someone who has never stepped foot on an NBA floor in the postseason is going to win a championship. That's just me.
This bro's different, man.
I know there's no doubt about it. I think the biggest test for him is just staying on the floor. Last year he had the blood clot thrombosis. Yeah. That was a little off the beaten path. And hopefully he stays healthy because he's an absolute sensation to watch. Let's go to Mark, who's in San Francisco, wants to talk about the job that Mike Dunleavy's done so far. Mark, good morning, man. You're on Warriors This Week with Evan and Dan. How are you?
I'm doing great. I wanted to get your assessment of Mike Dunleavy as a general manager so far. With drafting and his trades, where do you think he'll take us? Can he take us to a championship? Is he that good?
Hey, Mark, can I ask you a quick question?
Sure.
Do you swim in the bay by chance?
No.
Okay, sorry. You sound exactly like someone else that I know. Okay.
You know a Mark who swims in the bay?
No, but this guy's voice just sounds like some dude I've been rapping with in the sauna. Like, we get all these people in the sauna.
You haven't learned his name, but you go in the sauna with him?
There's a lot of people that it's not just he and I. It's not like a hot tub. It's like 11 guys
Well,
in
it sounds
a sauna.
like you really like this guy.
No, it's not just. It's not an intimate sauna of two guys, drinking out of the two straws coming out of the same drink.
Just watching ice melt.
Is he still on?
Yeah. What's up, Mark?
Yeah, I'm here.
Mark, you know what? I'll let you take this, but I've been wanting to, like, the Dunlevy thing. Thanks, Mark, because, bro, you're spot on, man. This guy he comes up gold every year.
What kind of job do you think Dunleavy's done so far, Mark? Like, how would you kind of, put it into words?
Well, I think the Butler trade was a great trade, and I think that his drafting, he's getting players in the second round that are looking pretty good. So to me, I think he's done a good job with what he's had. We'll see where he takes us, but so far I think he's done well.
I agree. Yeah, I'm right there with you, Mark. Thanks for the call. Don't be a stranger. I think if you look at the body of work of Mike Dunleavy and the job that he was asked to take over from Bob Myers, a lot of people would, I think, say that's a losing proposition. Like, you're getting the dynasty at its end. You're trying to keep it afloat, and you have to do it with a bunch of guys that are moving, so we thought, out of their primes. And so far, all he's done is made the Western Conference semifinals. He's swung a deal for a second legitimate co-star. He has not missed on a draft pick.
That's amazing.
And the majority of them have been second-round picks.
Right.
He's only had one first-rounder, and I know people may or may not like pods, but that's not a miss. That's number 17. And you've gotten contributions from TJD, Quentin Post, now Will Richard, who are all second-round picks. Mike Dunleavy Jr. has done a pretty damn good job with the situation that he was given.
The only blemish is Dennis Schroeder. That didn't work for.
But that turned into Jimmy Butler.
Exactly. That's where I was going. And Dennis Schroeder usually is a good player for wherever it is that he goes. Now, he's in Sacramento?
Who, Schroeder?
Yeah.
Yeah, dude. I watched the end of that game last night.
Sack of tomatoes is just garbage.
I cannot figure out what Doug Christie's doing. There was 4 minutes left in the game, and he had Dennis Schroeder, Russell Westbrook, Zach LaVine, Drew Eubanks, and somebody else that I forget on the floor to get, like, in crunch time. And I know that it's early in the season, but
It's
I'm
the
like,
dumbest thing I've ever heard.
well, but there's only one basketball, Doug. I mean, the guys cannot share, and they ended up winning the game because I think Sabonis bailed him out with a late rebound. But I'm like, this roster just makes absolutely no sense.
They're an absolute mess. But yeah, Dunleavy, I mean, wow, man. And the thing is he doesn't get a lot more, I think, notoriety because he doesn't have the swagger. He doesn't have sort of the looks. He's not a former agent. He's not slick. He's not a politician. He's not as articulate like that of his predecessor, Bob Myers. There's not a job waiting for him at ESPN, I don't think. Maybe there is. But in terms of just getting the job done and then going to the back of the room and just, being the other guy, I mean, hell, he's done as good, if not a better job than Myers has ever done. Can you imagine
Well,
I mean, come on. If Bob Myers was...
You better be careful.
If Bob Myers was given what it is, if he was dealt this hand, do you have the confidence that the Warriors are coming up with a Will Richard, a Podziemski, a Trace Jackson Davis? He fleeced Miami. Let's face it. He stole Jimmy Butler for nothing.
Well, they had to get rid of him. I mean, he was a fleece because he was a grenade in the locker room. Like, they had to get rid of him.
Yes, but Miami could have traded him to someplace else. But he enticed them with Andrew Wiggins, and essentially everybody thought that they'd give up too much draft capital, and he really didn't give up anything.
Well, Jimmy wanted to go to Phoenix. Like, remember, there was the report that he was not interested in playing for Golden State.
Yeah.
But he wanted to get out of Miami, and the only place that was willing to give Miami something was the Warriors. It was, Andrew Wiggins in a first. I don't think Phoenix had much to offer. So, and that was the only place that Jimmy, I think Milwaukee was also on the table, but it would have been like Middleton. I mean, they didn't have much to give up either. So I think that Dunleavy took advantage of just a decomposing situation in Miami, and the Warriors are fortunate for it because Jimmy Butler's been a completely different person here than he was there at the end, at least.
And I think,
but to your point, I think it's a fair question to ask: could Bob Myers have done a better job? Like, I don't know how many guys could step into the spot Dunleavy has so far and give you this. Like, I mean, realistically, how much further could the Warriors be along? You can make a case they could have been in the Western Conference Finals last year if not for a Steph injury.
I'm looking up Bob Myers draft picks because do we even want to go there? I mean,
the best one is Poole.
Yeah, well.
This is a six-man on a championship team.
I know. You know how I feel about that, man.
Yeah, but I also think that what you can't discount are the deals made under Bob Myers.
Oh, no one's discounting any of that.
And by the way, I mean, if you really want to go through the draft picks, it's like, I mean, I think his first draft he got Harrison Barnes, Draymond Green, and Festus Ezeli.
Yeah. No, that was
a pretty good draft.
But the Bucks stopped there. Like, that was it, you know?
Well, there was no room for anybody else to play. You had Curry, you had Clay, you had Draymond, you had Bogut. He was the one who made the deal for Iguodala. He made the trade for Andrew Wiggins. He turned KD into D'Lo, who turned into Wiggins, who turned into also a first-round pick, who turned into Kaminga. I mean, I don't know. Like, it's not just all the draft to me that goes into what a GM does.
No, it's not only the draft, but I think it's a lot easier when you're winning titles to.
I think it's harder to draft when you're winning titles.
No, not draft. I mean, to make those sort of deals. Like, Kevin Durant wasn't going to a loser. The Iguodala deal. I'm not saying Bob Myers was a bum. I'm just saying that, like, given this circumstance, I'm not necessarily sure that the Warriors stay competitive. We could be in a rebuild.
I mean, I think it's like asking, okay, if Tom Thibodeau was the head coach of the Golden State Warriors during their dynasty, would he have done as good of a job as Steve Kerr?
Go Knicks, by the way.
He's not the head coach anymore.
I know.
So some guys are actually going to get to play. Tom Thibodeau was just running guys into the ground. I actually do like them coming out of the East this year. I know everyone in New York hates that when they have expectations, but
well, yeah,
the Eastern Conference.
If they don't win the East this year, like who the hell else is Toronto? Cleveland. I mean, Cleveland's
pretty good, man. You don't like Orlando?
That seems to be the sexy pick. I do like Orlando.
I still think they're a year away. They're pretty young. Although Paolo's
a beast.
Paolo's a beast, dude.
He's too much.
I don't know. Milwaukee. I mean, this might be. What?
No.
I'm just saying.
I don't care
the greatness of Giannis.
How many Antetokounmpos are on that roster now? You know what they need to do? Is it Ice Cube that has the 3-on-3? Yeah, the Ice Cube that created the 3-on-3 tournament.
The Big Three, yeah.
The Big Three. You know what he's got to do is just have the Antetokounmpos play the holidays. Like Drew, Aaron, and Justin.
Well, all three of them are now on the Bucks, right?
He's got three of them now.
They just signed Alex. In fact, what Giannis said, the only place he would go this summer was New York, right? Could be on the table.
And I'm curious, so he will get traded. He's not going to stay in Milwaukee for...
That's a Dan Devone lock?
Well, I don't know if he'll get traded this year, but he'll get traded over the offseason, there's no doubt, because Milwaukee isn't going anywhere, and then he's going to be an unrestricted free agent, so he's going to go.
888-957-9570 is the number. Giddings and Devone. One last segment coming up on the other side. We'll dive back into the Warriors and go around the rest of the association as well, along with your calls and text messages on Warriors This Week here on 95.7 The Game.
Did you know that most people wait 6 or 7 years before they buy a new TV? That's a lot of time in front of one TV. So why not get one of the best sets for the next 7 years, like one of the top-rated Samsung, LG, or Sony models? Too expensive? What if you could get up to $1,000 trade-in for your old set? Who would do a stupid deal like this? Right now, at Video Only, you can get big bucks for your old set as a trade-in and a hot price on the new models. Don't be sorry. Check out Video Only.
Hi, I'm Dustin, your friend and jeweler at Shane Company. I know finding a dream engagement ring can be overwhelming, but don't worry, we got you. As director of diamond sourcing, it's my job to make sure every single diamond at Shane Company is truly the best of the best. Our team travels the world to see diamonds up close, in person. We handpick each one for its unique fire, brilliance, and scintillation. Diamond buying is an art. Of course, we look at cut, color, clarity, and carat, known as the 4 C's, but that's not all. We also look at how each diamond looks on a hand, where it will be worn, how it makes you feel, and if it's worthy of a Shane Company customer. That type of expertise only comes from working for a company that's been a family business since 1929. We also think about your budget. We only pick the best in each grade in all shapes and sizes. Your diamond is guaranteed to be the most beautiful because a friend wants you to pick from only the best. Drop by your store or shaneco.com and see for yourself. Shane Company, your friend and jeweler.
Bay Area, what's up? It's your guy, Bonte Hill, shouting out my friends at Ceremony Ford. If you think you missed your chance to save on an electric ride, think again. Ceremony Ford is dropping a deal you don't want to sleep on. You can lease a 2025 Mustang Mach-E Premium with extended range for just $299 a month. Yeah, you heard that right. An all-electric Mustang for under $300 a month. And if electric's not your vibe, no worries, my friends. Ceremony's got a massive lineup of new and pre-owned Fords ready to roll. F-150s, Broncos, Escapes, you name it. Right now, I'm rolling in the Explorer myself, and man, I love it. And let me tell you, these folks don't play games or haggle. Just good, honest people taking care of Bay Area drivers like you and me. So swing by Ceremony Ford, right off 280 on Ceremony Boulevard, or check out that Mach-E lease for just $299 a month at ceremonyford.com. Ceremony Ford, your Bay Area Ford store.
I joined the military for my kid and his mom. I miss my son a lot. One of the things with the military is tobacco, but I saw a lot of people try to deal with mental issues. Everyone's vaping constantly. After my first hit of a vape, I was hooked like that. Once I got back home from my deployment, I caught my son trying to hit my vape. That was it. I had to quit.
Isaiah started vaping to try to deal with stress and quit because of his son. Learn how he and other Californians are rising above big tobacco at undo.org.
The Golden State Warriors are back, and there's nothing more refreshing than an ice-cold Surfside to enjoy while you cheer on your Warriors. Surfside is only 100 calories, 2 grams of sugar, and 0 bubbles. That's right, no carbonation, so it's easy to sip and enjoy. It's not a seltzer, it's Surfside, proud partner of the Golden State Warriors. Sold in arena and at bars, restaurants, and stores near you. Must be 21. Please drink responsibly.
From 20th Century Studios, discover why critics are calling Springsteen Deliver Me From Nowhere an intelligent journey into the soul of an artist. Jeremy Allen White is the boss. Springsteen Deliver Me From Nowhere, now playing only in theaters.
Tune in to 95.7 The Game for Warriors Live, 60 minutes before tip-off. Every Warriors game throughout the season as we get ready for the action. Presented by Xfinity, your home court advantage. Brought to you by Xfinity. Watch all your favorite teams all in one place. Xfinity, imagine that.
The NBA season tips off, and so does DraftKings' newest fantasy game. DraftKings Pick 6 is the easiest way to play for big wins, with every possession giving you a shot at real money. Here's how to play. Just pick more or less on 2 or more stats and unlock the upside every game brings. The better your picks, the bigger your payout. Pick 6 is available in your state. Plus, new DraftKings customers can get $50 in bonus picks with just a $5 entry on your first pick set. Don't just watch basketball, cash in. Download the DraftKings Pick 6 app now and use code THEGAME. That's code THEGAME. Play just $5, get $50 in Pick 6 bonus picks. Make the call. Ride the upside in partnership with DraftKings Pick 6. The crown is yours. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Must be 18 and over. Age and eligibility varies by jurisdiction. Void where prohibited. 1 per new customer. Bonus awarded as non-withdrawable Pick 6 bonus picks that expire in 14 days. Limited time offer. See terms at pick6.draftkings.com/promos.
I spent 14 years in foster care, mostly in group homes. I slept in a lot of different rooms, but none of them really felt like mine.
There are more than 100,000 children in foster care waiting to be adopted. The Dave Thomas Foundation for Adoption is working to help find them a permanent home.
Now I have my own room, a place that's mine, and a family who loves and supports me.
If you have room in your home or your heart, see how you can help at davethomasfoundation.org.
Get 5 quarts of Valvoline Full Synthetic Motor Oil, a Wix filter, and a $15 gift card after rebate at O'Reilly Auto Parts.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
You still got it.
But your immune system weakens as you age, making it harder to fight flu, pneumococcal pneumonia, RSV, and COVID-19. Ask your doctor or pharmacist which vaccines you need. Sponsored by Pfizer.
Red and Gold Game Day starts at Laughing Monk Brewing. Park for free. Enjoy amazing food, ice-cold beer, and every game on TV. Catch 95.7 The Game's pregame show. Then hop on the free shuttle straight to the stadium. Sign up now at 957thegame.com. Now back to Warriors This Week on 95.7 The Game.
Yeah, we don't mind playing 3 out of 4 here. Fatigue factor, not an issue. Giddings, Devone, we got you locked for 3 hours. This show's flown by, Dan. I know you've been hearing that a lot lately.
What do you got? What do you got going on this weekend?
What do I got going on?
What are you drinking?
What's that the question?
I'm just joking, brother.
No,
because I live through you vicariously. You still can go hard, man. And then get up and do it. Like, you staggered in here last week, and I swear to you, man, he had these pipes going. I'm like, oh, bro, come on. How late were you out to last night?
Well, that was – where was I that weekend?
Was that 2 weeks ago? It was a North Carolina game.
Oh, yeah, that was the UNC game. Well, yeah, I didn't get home until, 12:30, and then I got to go have a little nightcap. See, the thing about it is the great part about where I live is there's a few bars that are not – they're not big enough. They don't draw, like, huge crowds.
Yeah.
But they're notable and have, like an Irish pub or whatnot. They're notable enough that they'll draw a lot of tourists, and especially late. There's not a ton of places in the city you can really go after, I would say, midnight. And so the Mission is a little more quiet, at least down where I am on 24th. 16th, there's action. But all those people that are still looking for just, a little one or two towards the end of the evening can sort of stumble in, and that's where I do my work. That is where I get in.
Work meaning like you're meeting friendly women or just, throwing them back?
Just to each their own. I think it kind of depends on the evening. Sometimes you meet some, like I met this couple from one was Scottish and one was English, and they were from this small town right outside of London. And she actually sent me the bar that she runs and wanted me to come hang out. This was not.
And have a pint?
Yeah, this wasn't that kind of couple. But they were so nice. So I just talked to them for like 2 hours. And by the end of the night, I had introduced them to Fernet, and they had introduced me to their Irish and Scottish drink of choice, and we had a great time together. So it doesn't always have to be me courting some random femme fatale.
You know what you should have introduced them to? A strawberry margarita.
Oh, God.
Jesus. Okay, so pasta. I still have not yet opened the bottle of strawberry marg mix that you got me for my birthday. So we need to drink that together because otherwise it's not going to be cracked. It will remain sealed.
Okay, I'm down.
We were talking about the drink of choice, or we were talking about Serbia, right? Because that's where Jokic is from.
Yes.
You know what their drink of choice is? It's called the Rakcha. And I strongly suggest you have it. I guarantee if Jokic was here or one of his brothers, which would mean we couldn't fit because they would take up the entire room. Again, getting back to our conversation, never seen a bigger human being than Jokic, the Joker's brother. But they drink Rakcha, which is like a brandy, a little too sweet for me.
It's not like Zach's matcha that he was drinking earlier.
What was he drinking? Oh,
well, he said he had a
dude. He was drinking
a mixed drink with onions or garlic. What was it?
It was like something out of his garbage disposal.
Something herbal,
pretty much.
He was just throwing crap together.
Well, you never know until you give it a go.
No, it actually looked green, and it's the sort of thing that I would enjoy.
But yeah.
By the way, so just really quick, going back to you know where I'd like to go. So there's this place, I don't know where, but maybe you could find this, and I'll go with you to this place. So I've got into tequila. I know you probably pound your tequila, but sipping tequila.
I actually struggle with clear.
Well, that's what you need to do is learn how to, like, good reposados out there, or blancos, or some of the anejos. Like it's almost like developing, like if you drink scotch or any sort of hard
yeah, that I'm in
spirits.
Mm-hmm.
But there's a store that sells all these really unique brands of tequila, not 818 and this Kardashian crap, like real stuff. And so they have these tequila parties, like monthly, where you go in and you try these different blends, and there's Mexican food to sort of complement it. And I think that's a place where you and I could bond.
Say the word, I'm there. See, this is one thing that people don't understand about you, Dan, is you, and I guess I fall in the same category. You're hard to get a hold of. Like, you're in and around so many different ventures, and you got your fingerprints on this and your hand in this different thing. I'm like, I mean, I haven't seen you in a few months, outside of course, a couple of minutes where I stumbled in last week, but I'm trying to figure out what you're doing. Like, you're asking me what I'm doing this weekend. I got a little bit of work tomorrow because I got to do pregame for the Niners with Lorenzo Neal. I'll do a little bit of work tomorrow night because I got a Santa Clara broadcast, but I cannot get a hold of you when you're in San Francisco.
I just try and make myself look much more mysterious than I really am. What's the name of the place, Pasta?
I think it's on Courtland Avenue in Bernal Heights, San Francisco Tequila Shop.
Yes.
That's in Bernal? Oh, that's over my neck of the woods.
Let's go. Pasta, little. I mean, this is not lining it up and doing shots. Bring the girlfriend. We're gonna do sipping, and we're gonna taste it as if it was we were in Napa Valley and wine.
And we're gonna comprehend it, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
You got to write it out. Yeah. No, I'm in.
If you mention strawberry margarita, I seriously think that you will be physically removed from the premises.
And that's fine. I'll accept that.
He gets nearly physically removed from these premises every weekend. The 925 is confirming Fortaleza Reposada or Anejo is the best. Okay. So, again, my palate has not been broadened at this point when it comes to clear. I'm generally more of a whiskey man. But I am open to all in a healthy, responsible manner, I might add. Because unlike some of these nitwits running around the NBA doing illegal things left and right, I do not dive into that dirty business. No.
Me out one time.
Not I.
You know what? The poker game, which we haven't really delved into, is not just, for those of you that haven't read the report and know what it is that we're talking about, it is not just a poker game.
Dude.
Like, the technology that is available to these guys to cheat is absolutely off the hook, man.
X-ray tables. They got windows. I mean, I think it was Bobby who called it earlier, called it a James Bond type of poker game. He ain't lying. And to me, like, I mean this facetiously. That's the bigger crime. Like, you cheating in cards is going to get you. I'm not sure how Chauncey Billups is still walking if he's messing around with some of these mob members that are in these games. Kevin Garnett, I guess,
he was working for the mob, so he was the front guy to bring the pigeon to the game.
Oh.
So he's just like using his name and his stature to lure in some poor SOB to lose all of his life savings.
So, like, I'm walking into this poker game unbeknownst because I'm just thinking, hey, it's cool. I'm in a big high-stakes poker game with Chauncey Billups, Mr. Big Shot. Meanwhile, I'm just getting dragged underneath the table because I have no clue that I have no chance to win. I mean, that to me is the biggest crime, if we're being honest. Kash Patel.
There was a guy, like a professional poker player, who I guess does a podcast, and back in 23 he was talking about the game, like the poker stuff. Do you see that? And he was like, yeah, like it's rigged, like it's, and yeah, I think Pat McAfee had him on yesterday. It's crazy.
Oh wow.
Yeah, so there'll be a guy that'll be sitting there, and he'll know what the cards are, and he'll have a chip. Literally this size in his ear.
He's got an offensive coordinator telling him what to do?
No, but the chip is so small that they have to get it out with a magnet. Otherwise, it's going to go into your ear canal and you'll lose your equilibrium. I mean, that's how small the thing is. And then there's someone in his ear telling him the cards, and he knows exactly what everyone's carrying. It's absolutely. I mean, this is not just a poker game that Chauncey Billups happened to be throwing up one of those portable tables down in his basement. No.
A little bit bigger than that. A little bit bigger than Portland, too. Eric is in Millbrae. Eric, what's up, man? Good morning. Welcome to Warriors This Week. How are you?
What's up, fellas? Was at the home opener on Thursday night. Just incredible game, man. Curry, just doing Curry things, man. He's just 101. Just enjoy it while we can. And we're never going to see another guy like him. But, guys, I want to get your opinion just overall. We obviously got a great tandem in Curry and Butler, and I think that's one of the best 2-1 punches. But I don't know, Butler can really elevate at a higher level. He needs Curry to really be that main focal where he can play off him. To me, I'm looking at Kaminga. I think Kaminga's playing for his future Warriors career. They got to, I guess, the trade line in February to decide. I know him and Kerr have been odds since he's basically got here 4 years ago. Guys, I wanted to get your opinion now. If he really makes this jump now, because Kerr's going to be forced to play in major big-time minutes here because he doesn't seem to really be high on post and TJD anymore. So it looks like Kaminga is going to be his focal point, and Horford, which, being a guy near the end of his career, can't really play back-to-backs or huge minutes besides needed. I think if he really balls out, because I think Kaminga's a Lakers guy, I really do think he can be part of the core. And I really want him to stay, guys, because I think he's shown enough where when he gets his mitts, he can really play off those guys. He doesn't have to be the main focal point of the offense. If he can just be part of the 3-4 man main core, I really do think that's going to play well for the Warriors going forward. So I want to get you guys' opinion. If he really elevates his game here, even though he's been at odds with Kerr, I think Lacob has seen enough, and I think
sorry, Eric, you're kind of breaking up there, but point taken. And how I would answer that, thanks for the call. I think, Dan, in that game, the home opener, like what stood out to me the most, it involved Kaminga, but it was just the fact that they were able to play with Curry, Kaminga, Butler, Green, and Horford. They were able to play big. And to me, that's going to determine how far they go in the West, I think, is if those five or some combination, the biggest five that they have, the most switchable, the most versatile lineup they have, specifically defensively, is that good enough to hang with the OKCs, the Houstons? We saw them beat Denver, potentially San Antonio, like you're talking about, because there's a lot of big teams in the West, and it felt like at the end of last season, the question was always, well, how far can you really go with Draymond at center? And if they're able to play big, if Kaminga can stay on the floor and make enough shots, and Jimmy Butler can be good enough, and Steph Curry can continue to lead you, well, then I'm looking at that lineup and I'm saying that has the potential as a closing lineup to be a very good and formidable, I think, unit for the Warriors.
I think, again, it just comes back down to, and this is sort of where the whole conversation started, who's available when the playoffs start. It's just who's healthy, who has legs, who is it that is going to still be standing. And injuries are part of the game, but I do think that when it comes to the Warriors, as old as they are, it's just a matter of what bodies are available. Can they get through? They're not going to play anywhere near 82 games, but when it comes to April, who's here? Who's still standing?
And it's funny, we were talking about Dunlevy. He's, the decision of whether or not he wants to make a move at some point this season is also on the table too. I think, and I've been critical of him, but I think that Kaminga going into this year was kind of viewed as like a bad problem, right? Either it was going to be a distraction or you were just going to have to wait to trade him. It was just, there was a negative connotation. But the more he plays and the more he's given opportunity to prove that he can fit in with this team, it's becoming more of a good problem to have.
I got a question for you.
Yeah.
Do you think that was a perception? Because there's always the outside media, especially when a story like this goes national. There's always the takes from afar, like he's going to be a distraction. Did you ever see or perceive Jonathan Kaminga as being a distraction on this team? I know he's been problematic, and he sort of spoke through his minions at times that he was disgruntled. But did you ever foresee this potentially being a distraction? To me, that was never the case with him and Steve Curry. Yeah, they were at odds, but I never saw him being a cancer in the locker room. Did you envision something like that, where he was to the point where, we're obviously going to trade him because this is like a Jimmy Butler in his last days in Miami situation?
No, I don't think. Yeah, it's funny you mentioned it. Like, Jimmy Butler's been far more of a locker room cancer in his career than Kaminga has. But it wasn't so much that I thought Kaminga individually would cause a stink, because to his credit, he's never really done that. It's always been his representation that's been the problem. But I just felt like the decision, if you will, of what to do with him or him at the end of the year would pose a distraction for the rest of the team. Like everyone would be constantly, and they might continue to, depending on how the year goes, be asking Kerr or Curry or Draymond, what do you do? Does he fit? What's his role? Because down the stretch of last year, it felt like every other question, at the podium was about Jonathan Kaminga. It was a player that wasn't playing. And I thought Kerr tried to nip it in the bud at the beginning of this year, basically saying, like, we're going to be talking about basketball this year. And I think winning, like most things, kind of smooths all of that over. But they are a losing streak away from that being back into I would say, one of the primary storylines of the year. Like, what do you do?
Yeah, so I think we're on the same page. I agree with you. It could be a distraction in that vein, but I do not see him as – I just don't think it's part of his personality from the little I know of the guy as far as being somebody that can –
I mean, there's sometimes he had bad body language on the bench. I think like any other young player that's not playing. But I think this locker room wouldn't let that become a distraction, if you will. Like with Curry, I think it's just like how many times have we described the Warriors locker room as being toxic outside of Draymond punching Poole and maybe Klay Thompson in his last season, when he was pouting and not happy about not getting the contract and stuff like that. I feel like generally that the locker room and the culture with the Warriors is strong enough to not let, at least going into the year, I thought he would be a sixth man, and he's had to step up and start, and probably will continue to do so. I didn't think they would let a player that wasn't one of the main guys, take over, so to speak.
Well, it's interesting because if you ever heard some of the media and some of the people that I respect that don't follow the Warriors as intimately as we do, that just all sort of fell in line with, oh, it's going to be a problem with he and Kerr. Like, this isn't going to, like, it's going to get to a boiling point, and it's inevitable that he's going to get traded because this has reached the point of no return. It's going to be disruptive. I'm like, really?
I mean, I still think that's a possibility, but I don't look at it like it's going to be a toxic relationship until that point.
Well, I think they were.
No, I mean, I understand why. I mean, he all but said he couldn't play with Butler and Draymond last year. And that's why I think, again, you got to give Kaminga credit for clearly doing the work this summer, improving his game, rounding out the edges. And I think you also got to give some credit to the Warriors for, like, Kerr is giving him an opportunity to play with these guys. He just is. And so I think that while I felt the blame for the saga this summer was 50-50, I also think the credit so far this year is 50-50. Jonathan has made immense improvements, it appears, to his game and is going to continue to get an opportunity to show that. And Steve Kerr is letting this thing play out for right now. And so far, they're 2-1 as a result.
Maybe he's just doing this to get paid. And I'm talking about Kaminga. He's like, man, I'm just doing this so I can get up and the hell out of here. Like, I'm just
sometimes the carrot is not as far away as you think. I don't know.
Let's get a call. Who's this guy on the line?
Austin in Redwood City.
Oh, my man.
Austin, good morning. What's up, man?
Hey, not much. Good morning. I just want to say the Warriors starting off pretty good, and I feel like they still one piece away. And that one piece away, what the Warriors fail to always do is go get a legitimate center that's like mobile, that can run the floor, protect the paint, and get a rebound instead of just relying on these guards and Kaminga and whoever else to get a rebound for them. That's just the only piece that we really actually need. So can Davis be the only one on the way out for a center or something, or go check the free agent list for a center that can run the floor? Like, I'm tired of seeing all these guards and Kaczynski getting rebounds and out of place on the court and stuff. It's annoying.
I got you.
What y'all think about that?
Yeah. I mean, I think, look, we've talked about size being an issue with this group for a long time. I think that it's hard, though. In a way, I know they got blasted last night, but it's really hard for me to look at that game and say, well, the Warriors need to go get some more size because the guy they went out and got was unavailable. Like, we know that tail end of back-to-backs, Horford's not going to play. I don't know about you, Devon, but I didn't think they looked small against Denver. They weren't out-rebounded. They hung with Jokic. Gordon had 50, but he was making a ton of threes. I don't think they've been bullied so far. I think they just got outran last night, honestly.
Yeah, and this is who they are. And it's worked for them. So, easier said than done. Sorry, caller.
Yeah.
Getting a big that can rim run.
Can we get Wembanyama?
He might be available. I'm telling dude, I know you're trying to be cute, but when this dude, get back to me in 2 months. Because he's going to dominate.
Dude, I watched the first game against Dallas where he made 7 plays in the first half that I'd never seen before in my life.
Like, what just happened?
The one
Every time
where
I see him.
He had a block on one end, took it down the court, hit a step back behind the legs, 4-point play.
Oh, God, he ended up on his back. That was crazy.
And the only thing I'm thinking when I'm watching him play is, just please don't snap your leg. Like, he's not going
to snap a leg, but, those injuries to guys, he's like 7'6", apparently.
He's still growing?
That's what they say. And so you just know at some point, enjoy it now, the first couple of years, because those injuries they're around the corner.
I sure hope not. All right, let's end with Leo, who's on 880. Leo.
Where are you going, Leo?
That's my sign. That's what the women tell me. What's up, man? How you doing?
Hey, thank you very much. I said I'm an optimistic guy, and I think you kind of have to believe in what you want to see. So I want to call that 5 of Horford, Butler, Green, Kaminga, and Curry. I want to call them the Hampton 5. Just kind of say, this is it. That's our lineup that nobody else has in the NBA. And I think the season is all about Kerr not overreacting to Kaminga having a bad game. I don't remember going 3-12 for that stretch because of Kaminga. It was everybody. So as long as Kerr doesn't panic and lets that group be our starting group and our Clayson group, we got a shot.
I'm with you, Leo.
I think the Hampton 5 has been taken.
Well, I thought that was the
Tim Kawakami's call, right?
Yeah. Well, okay. So I've been workshopping this one. So you know how the Warriors are the first team to have, 4 35 and olders in their starting lineup?
I like this. Okay.
So Curry, Horford, Draymond, and Butler.
Yeah.
They used to call the closing lineup the death lineup, right?
Yeah.
What about the close to death lineup?
I like it. See, I was trying to see, because I no longer am playing the old card. I've actually... I
know, I'm proud of you.
And I like this team. But since you went there, I've been trying to avoid it. Pasta, should we take him out? It's right. It's the opening to Sanford and Son.
Dude, this is funky. I like this.
You got to Google Sanford and Son opening. And that pretty much tells you everything you need to know about this old team.
Okay, well, I don't know about that, but I've been listening. You ever heard of Tower Power?
Yeah, they're from Oakland.
Yeah, they're an old funk band. They're really good.
Oh, yeah.
I've been listening to them lately. They got some jams.
They used to play in what was known as the Day on the Greens. So they used to have the Oakland Alameda County Coliseum back in the day. And every year that they would have these huge concerts of local bands and bands throughout the country that would play out there in Oakland, like out there at center field. And everybody would just, be in the stands and on the field.
That's back when you can see the hills.
Yeah. This is before Mount Davis.
All right, Pasta says we got to get out of here. Show went by. But
man, that was fast.
You got to simmer. All right, so, but we'll be back here same time, same day, Saturday, 9 to noon. Warriors this week. A big thank you to everybody that called in, chimed in on the Boxer and Gerson Work Injury Attorneys text line, our YouTube chat, The Faithful. We'll be back here tomorrow for Kickoff, the Kickoff Show with myself alongside Lorenzo Neal. 49ers big game against the Houston Texans. Stay tapped for that. In the meantime, thank you to everybody once again for my partner Dan Devone, for Pasta, a.k.a. Steven Risotto, for Caddy Zach, a.k.a. Zachary. My name is Evan Giddings saying so long, and we'll talk to you next time on 95.7 The Game.
This is Dan Devone saying so long, everybody.
So what are you reading?
I'm checking out the ratings on the new TVs, and it looks like Samsung, LG, and Sony got the best scores.
Just like